projects, I believe. So there's no honoring in this case. He's choosing to move to New Hampshire.
Nice.
Right, because he had a really positive experience.
It's awesome.
I'll read the piece here with you on the line if you want, Dave. It's Nicholas Sarwark on his Facebook posts here. He says, on June 30th, 2002, I was chair of the Libertarian Party of Maryland and attended an event with a speaker. He says maybe it was Jason Sorens, he doesn't remember, talking about this idea of moving 20,000 liberty-loving people to a single state to be a tireless minority who could achieve liberty in our lifetimes. The state would be chosen by those who signed a pledge to move once 20,000 people had signed up. It seemed like a good idea to me at the time, and I became signer number 461 for the Free State Project that day.
That is pretty impressive as far as a number signer goes.
The state was chosen, New Hampshire, which was, by the way, a vote of the earliest 5,000 members. I think about half of them voted. But signups went slowly. And by the way, the signups went slowly after New Hampshire was chosen. So it was like going super fast before that, and then they chose the state at 5,000, and then it just dropped off the cliff.
Because it's cold up here.
Well, but most of the states were cold states.
I think that it was the reality of it.
Oh, okay.
I think it's just like, they've picked a state
instead of to move.
Right. What the original criteria was, they picked 12 states and then eliminated 2. Okay. Sorry, Hawaii was one of those ones eliminated.
I know.
It's true, yeah.
Hawaii and New Jersey, right?
No, Rhode Island.
Rhode Island were eliminated. So you had, and I won't be able to get them all off the top of my head, but like Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota, New Hampshire, Vermont, Ian, help me out, Delaware, Alaska. I don't know. I'm about done at this point. So Maine was on the list, and there was just sort of, basically when they decided it was going to be the first 5,000 people were going to determine which state, and then they would just go ahead and everything would be hunky-dory and they'd get another 15,000 people to sign up. Well, that is probably the biggest mistake of the Free State Project's existence, was presuming that once we picked a state that people would immediately, hey, yeah, that's a great idea. Instead, it seemed like the reality of picking a state sort of crushed the numbers. And there were several years before Ron Paul got big that basically Free Talk Live was the only thing bringing in signups. And we were credited by Jason Sorens at one point on the air with about a quarter of the signers of the Free State Project. So,
do you think that if they had waited to cast that vote until later, they might have got more signers but less overall movers?
Who knows? I think
if they'd waited on the vote, this would have been done by like 2005.
Okay.
I think if instead of, because we were going up at such an insane clip before we hit 5,000, because it was at 5,000 where they decided they were going to have the vote.
Right.
It was just crazy the amount of people that were signing up at that time. I think it was like in the hundreds per week or something like that. It was a lot of people.
But even if you hit 20,000 and then they go like, okay, voting and New Hampshire's picked, and like more than half
I still don't think you would have gotten half of the movers at that point.
And you could sign up without...
But at least people would still be alive.
Right. And you could sign up and exclude certain states.
Okay.
So, for instance, I actually signed up after they had the vote because I just sort of wanted to wait and see where they picked.
Okay.
And because I was rooting for Alaska. I thought that was the best choice. It's already, not attached to the United States. It's got all the advantages that New Hampshire had, except for sort of these diminutive size. And, that's what I thought.
Yeah, the size is a big help being here in New Hampshire. It's super easy to be able to just drive an hour.
You can live anywhere in the state. And that means you can live in any single congressional district for the state, the 400 congressional districts of the state. You can live anywhere in the state and travel to the state house to either testify or be a state rep. Just about anybody can get elected as state rep. All you have to do is put your name out and then, maybe do a mailer or do some door knocking. It's pretty easy. You basically represent about, on average, 3,500 people, so it's not a big election.
Right.
Most people don't really know who their rep is. So just putting a name out there is useful.
Dave, you're kind of absorbing a lot of this. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's interesting on Facebook. It seems like I can't visit Facebook a single day without seeing some new post from someone who's just moved, or he's posting something welcoming someone new, or somebody's posting a question. Okay, it's time for me to move. Can you tell me about the gun laws? In some ways the activity level seems down from a few years ago, but the actual moving it seems to really be happening.
Well,
Yeah.
and they're continuing to get signers as well.
Yep, that's true as well. Dave, thanks for calling in tonight. Appreciate hearing from you. That's Dave Ridley from RidleyReport.com. And so more from Nicholas Sarwark.
Well, before you go on, I think that one of the reasons that activity might be down is because it used to be sort of come here and get active in some manner. But now that people have been active for a long time, many people have come to a conclusion here, the Great Freedom Migration, that basically political action seems to be the best bang for the buck. And the people who don't want to do it are like, well, guess I'll live my life. So they might move, but what is there for them to do? Street theater? They're not going to do that. So
I don't know. Do whatever you're called to do. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. There's nobody to tell you what to do. 855-450-3733. We got more coming up here on the LP Chairman coming on board with New Hampshire.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help. Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite. Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free. New improved Lico Chops with omega-6, omega-3, vitamin E, and now 6 extra direct-fed microbials. Even better for the digestive tract and immune system. And dogs love it. Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free. This is Henry Lukasevic for Dynavite.
DINOVITE.com.
You love Bitcoin. It's the future, right? Well, no, not if everyone stops using it. I mean, think about it. How many places in your town take Bitcoin? 1? None? Let's be real. If this Bitcoin thing is ever going to happen, it's going to need your help. The good news is the guys at AnyPay have your back. We built a website called helpmetakebitcoin.com, and it's a place you can send any business, and they'll be set up to take Bitcoin in 5 minutes. helpmetakebitcoin.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves here. You can bring up whatever's on your mind. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We also have the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. They're open and available to you, and they sound great on our Discord server. Go to discord.lrn.fm. You can join one of the top 4 rooms, and it will join you in there, and you'll sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with me, Ian,
Richie Rich,
and Mark.
By the way, I want to tell you about an incredible deal that is only going to last for, I think, another day on My Magic Mud.
Yeah.
This is black tooth powder.
Now's the time to buy your My Magic Mud.
Let's tell you what it is. It's black tooth powder made of charcoalized coconut shells and bentonite clay. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth. But if you haven't believed us on these claims, because Mark, you swear by this stuff,
right? I've gone so far as to say if you listen to nothing else I say on the air, I get
true.
it.
You're really a fan.
The things that we say here on the air are. Might be radical for some people to digest or whatever, but almost all of you who are listening to me have teeth, and so therefore the statements I'm making, I really believe firmly that these are good for all the teeth you have left.
And you get to try it now for 50% off, which is the deal that you can get through Amazon, which I didn't even know they were on Amazon, but I guess I shouldn't be surprised.
Sure.
Because we went through the laundry list of places that My Magic Mud is available: Sprouts, CVS, Natural Grocers, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, and of course MyMagicMud.com. But they're also on Amazon, and Amazon's got this thing called Prime Day, which apparently is more than one day.
I think it's tomorrow and the next day. Tomorrow and Tuesday.
Okay. Well, the note I have here says that this sale ends on the 15th, which would be tomorrow. So it's 50% off from now through July 15th. At what time it ends on the 15th, I don't know. So you probably want to get your order in sooner rather than later. And it's 50% off. So, we gave you our code for their website, FTL20. They only get you 20% off. What they're asking you to do, though, is to leave a review once you get the product and, try it out. Come back later and leave a review. Or if you're already familiar with the product, then please just leave a review right away when you buy it over at Amazon during Prime Days. And again, this offer of 50% off My Magic Mud is over sometime tomorrow, sometime Monday. This is what they sent. They sent us a notice to let us know, so we're letting you know. Otherwise, you can go to mymagicmud.com if you're hearing this too late, and you can still get 20% off with our code FTL20. So back to the post from Nicholas Sarwark, and as I pointed out on the blog that I wrote about this over at freekeen.com, a lot of us early movers, people who, Mark, you and I, we moved back in 2006. I don't think you were an early mover, Richie.
Nope, not at all.
You moved as part of the main migration of the Free State Project.
They hit the number, and I went, "Oh, gotta go."
You moved
so
early on in that. Sure. I would say series, because we're about the halfway point. It's a 5-year window. The Free State Project reached 20,000 people who pledged to make the move here back in 2016 in February, and now we're in the summer of 2019. So there's a couple, two and a half years to go where people can make this move, and that's what Nicholas Sarwark has decided he's going to do. But what I pointed out was I felt like there would be a point at which we had created a place, a liberty activism environment or community that would be so successful that the average libertarian, who many of them have not heard of us, and this was true certainly a decade ago, and I think it's still true today. I still think that there's a lot of libertarians out there that don't know what the Free State Project is.
Any idea of a percentage?
I don't have any idea.
Okay.
No.
Because I think a lot of libertarians. I mean, I'm going to say, and it depends on how you define it, right? To me, it's like anybody who's active in any way with any of the liberty organizations out there, basically. I think that more than half have heard about the Free State Project or New Hampshire or something, or the Shire Society or the Great Freedom
I think that's
Migration.
Optimistic, but maybe.
I've been to these conventions outside, and when you go to Anarchapulco, there's one that you've been to. You'll go to Freedom Fest here very shortly next week, and start asking people if they've heard about it or not. because I think they
Yeah,
have.
it's more useful to do it when you're on a stage in front of a large group of people, because then you can get sort of a take the temperature of the room kind of thing. If you're just asking people individually, it's going to be a lot harder to really get any meaningful data. But anyway, regardless, my point being that I felt like it would get to the point where, even if people were aware of it before, they still were probably skeptical, right? Like, oh, yeah, sure that'll never work. Or whatever. The idea of migrating and concentrating libertarians to one particular geographic area.
Well, it depends on what you want it to work for. If you want it to work
for more freedom.
If you want it to work to concentrate libertarians, it's already been successful.
That's what I'm saying here, is that I thought that we would get to a point where it would be so undeniably successful that the average libertarian activist looks at what's going on, they've heard something about what's going on, and they say to themselves, okay, I have to do this. I have to be with this migration. I have to move to New Hampshire, because if I care about freedom, I have to go to the place on the planet where the most freedom-loving people are.
Well, and I think part of the issue getting those people to do that is some of the bigger names within the libertarian movement haven't made the move for one reason or another.
When Tom Woods was here, it's several years ago.
When he was here for Thanksgiving?
Yeah. I think it was 5 years ago or whatever. He asked me a question that I don't know, that I've never been able to answer, which is, why would I move? Actually,
because you live in Massachusetts. I mean, the obvious seems pretty obvious.
Yeah. Tom Woods didn't live in
Massachusetts. I thought he lived in Massachusetts.
I don't know that he's ever lived in Massachusetts. He lived at the time in Kansas.
Huh.
And he was moving to Orlando. So, if the freedom he wants is the freedom to no longer shovel snow, then he's got it. And I
would hope that people care more about freedom just in general. If that's all you care about is not shoveling snow or, being able to smoke marijuana, then yeah, there's other places that you can go to live your life out. But if you actually care about human freedom, which means freedom for humans who are not necessarily you, but also you, if you care about just generally the state of freedom in the world, and you want to carve out a place where there's more freedom in one place than any other, then it will become impossible to ignore New Hampshire. It will become impossible to say that we have not been incredibly successful here compared to every other libertarian migration or activism movement on the planet.
Compared to a libertarian migration, but as far as we got thousands
of movement of people just in one given area.
I hear you, movement. Yeah,
and so that's why I think what's happening here now, we've got the chairman of the Libertarian Party, the National
You've
Party.
You've got one guy who said he's going to move.
This.
It's not exactly a movement at this point of
he's
high
not
level.
One guy. He's one of thousands. He's just a more noteworthy kind of celebritarian level person.
Right. If I thought we were talking about noteworthy celebritarians moving to New Hampshire.
I'm talking about everybody.
Okay.
I'm
talking about noteworthy celebritarians.
Well,
that's what I thought we were talking about.
Well, but that's true. That's part of what I'm saying here is that the movement has become so successful that the more noteworthy ones are going to have to, they're going to have to really ask themselves. Why would the noteworthy
ones be slower to sign up than the thousands?
For the same reasons everybody else is slow to sign up. They got family, they got businesses, they've got things that they're doing wherever it is that they live. He has a car dealership or something like that. There in the Phoenix area. People are busy.
The noteworthy ones will travel from around the country to go to this convention or that convention, speak on the ideas of liberty and human freedom, and then not move
and then never move
to the concentration of it.
Right. It doesn't make sense. It's frustrating. But the more that we have, the more success that we have, the more
maybe
people
they spend a lot of time thinking about it, and they've come to the conclusion, as I have, that it's very difficult to retrofit the state, and that if you move to a place with a entrenched state, you're going to have a hard time retrofitting.
Well, I figured we'd get to your negative Nancy.
I'm not trying to be negative here. I'm trying to point out that that's a difficult task.
Dude, the Free State Project hasn't even completed its move, and you're already throwing your hands up. It's too hard. We got to leave and move to an island.
Yeah, my experience of living here for 13 years, completely irrelevant.
Epstein's Island.
Yeah, it's irrelevant. It's still we're still in the early phases of this. It hasn't. The Free State Project migration hasn't even completed yet. But
I'm not here for the Free State Project. If I was here for the Free State Project, I'd have left when they kicked my radio show out of their convention.
That's just some sort of bureaucracy.
After getting a lifetime achievement
That's a
award.
bureaucracy issue. That's a board issue. It has nothing to do with the idea of migrating people to New Hampshire. So let's not sidetrack into that.
Just saying. I'm not here for the Free State Project.
Whatever. The whole point, neither am I. I'm here for the migration of people who want to do something for freedom. And that's what Nicholas Sarwark is acknowledging here. Since he visited the Porcupine Freedom Festival, he saw what it's actually like to be among other people who care about freedom, and it makes a huge difference.
Do the letters IRS give you anxiety? I'm Dan Pilla. I've defended people from the IRS for more than 40 years. My book, How to Get Tax Amnesty, created the tax resolution industry and is responsible for helping hundreds of thousands of people. It can help you too. If you're a non-filer or facing IRS enforcement right now, your case is unique. You need real help, not cookie-cutter advice. My clients get my personal attention. Buy my book at danpilla.com and get a free consultation directly with me. That's danpilla.com. Let's start solving your tax problem right now.
Warning. If you're drowning in debt you can't afford, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to pay it all back, because you don't. What the credit card companies don't want you to know is that there's actually a way to get debt-free without paying off your entire debt or going bankrupt. If you have $5,000 or more in credit card debt, you now have the right to let us settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. For free information, call Credit Associates now. 1-800-959-5759. We'll even show you how much money you could save. If you can't afford to pay off all your debt, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to. Call Credit Associates now for free information on how to get debt-free faster than you ever thought possible without debt consolidation or bankruptcy. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. For free information, call now. 1-800-959-5759. That's 1-800-959-5759. 1-800-959-5759.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
While getting drinks after work with a group of coworkers, local shipping clerk Russell Chambliss told reporters Wednesday night he was unsure whether he was bonding with his male associates or being mercilessly bullied by them.
I'm pretty sure that Bill called me limp dick earlier, and Todd keeps punching me in the shoulder. Pretty hard, too. I can't tell if it's their way of letting me feel like I'm part of the group or making me feel bad about myself.
Chambliss said while his coworkers verbally demeaned him and even made him feel physically threatened at various points in the evening, they did so with large smiles on their faces, making it extremely unclear if his coworkers enjoyed his company or wanted him to leave the bar.
Well, I told Jeff about this problem that I was having with my girlfriend, and he called me a pussy and then walked away. But then, like 5 minutes later, he came back with a beer that he had bought for me. What does that even mean? Apparently I'm invited over to Todd's house for dinner this weekend. I guess that'll be fun.
For more on this story, keep checking theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Coming up, civil disobedience, non-cooperation happening in New Zealand. I'm a big fan of both of those things, so we're going to get into what's going on. It has to do with gun confiscation down there. With you tonight, by the way, it's Ian,
Richie Rich,
and Mark.
And I do want to let you know about local.bitcoin.com. This is a pretty much a brand new site. It's been around maybe 6 weeks, 5-6 weeks at this point. and it allows you to buy and sell Bitcoin Cash with dozens of payment methods: PayPal, Venmo, bank deposits, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. And I did learn, I'm kind of new to the Venmo thing. I was complaining about it the other day that you couldn't load a balance with your debit card. Well, you don't need to, apparently. When you pay on Venmo, it just hits your debit card for the amount, and there's no fee. So I was able to buy Bitcoin Cash through Venmo from somebody and pay zero fee on for like what I mean is Venmo didn't take a fee, right? So like the seller got obviously some money for their marking up. They marked up the Bitcoin Cash a little bit and made a little bit of money. And it was super easy. So that's cool. And actually I was even funding my Venmo with my BitPay card. So I had a Bitcoin fueled debit card with which I was then buying Bitcoin Cash through a debit transaction. It's kind of crazy. But
now they're going to crack down on Venmo.
It worked. Well, Venmo may crack down because they actually technically don't allow that kind of stuff. But if they don't know about it, then it might take them a while to figure it out. Bank deposits, remittances, cash in person, and more. In fact, our co-host on Monday nights, Aria DiMezzo, has been going crazy with it. She's become the #1 PayPal seller on local.bitcoin.com.
Yeah.
So she's been having a blast. She's thinking about quitting her job over this, which may be a little hasty, but it might work out for her.
Commit to it.
Who knows? So go to local.bitcoin.com. It's private,
It's
by the
looking
way.
like a good time to buy Bitcoin Cash. Just looking at the charts
down,
here, right here,
yeah.
it's down. So, buying opportunity.
Yep, get on over there. And there's, by the way, no know your customer identification requirements to create the account on the site. That's because they don't ever hold your crypto. It's all in a wallet that you have control over. And there's also the communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. So the site itself, the administrators, law enforcement, or whoever, they can't read it because it's encrypted, which is pretty cool. Head over to local.bitcoin.com. As we continue here talking about this migration of people who were included in this migration, the three hosts of this show tonight, we all migrated here as part of this New Hampshire Freedom Migration. And we're starting to see more people like Nicholas Sarwark, the chairman of the Libertarian Party, who you happen to have on as a guest just within the last 2 weeks, I think, Mark.
Yep.
And you weren't talking to him about moving to New Hampshire, apparently.
Never considered it. He's he's got a successful business in Arizona.
Yep.
And he's lived there the whole time I have. I never even considered asking him, hey, when are you going to move? Plus, I'm not the closer for New Hampshire like you are. I figure people ought to figure out what freedom means to them and then pursue that geographically wherever that's best for them.
Yeah, I mean, that's a nice thing to say for the average person, Mark. But I think for those of us who actually care about human freedom, getting ourselves together and concentrating our activism in one place is clearly the answer. And that's what Nicholas Sarwark is acknowledging here in his post over on his social media, where he says that he was one of the earlier signers of the Free State Project Pledge, signer number 461. He signed back in 2002. He says the state was chosen, New Hampshire, but signups went slowly. The move was supposed to be triggered within 5 years of the project, or it would be abandoned. 5 years, or the project would be abandoned. 5 years came and went, but people kept signing up, and the project kept going. It wasn't until February of 2016 that the 20,000th, person signed up.
I'd like to point out that I bet against that because what it did was it sort of slowly ramped up after the 5,000 signer spike. Then it just really petered off as far as numbers, and then it slowly ramped up, and then at some point Vince Perfetto and a few other people put together a project of just basically Facebook advertising and got lots and lots of people to sign up. I was so jaded at that point as far as trying to get people to sign up for the Free State Project and getting shot down by the board over and over again that
on tactics, you mean? On how to
tactics,
do it? Okay.
Yep. I needed their help to do the project that I had in mind, and it had to do with calling people on the telephone, just getting together lists and that sort of thing, and ringing people up. And at some point or another, they this project came on, and I had said, you get X number, I think it was 5,000 people to sign up in 1 year. I don't know what the thing was. You get the project done in a year, I'll give you $1,000. No problem, by the way. It just went into more ads for, getting people to move. So
wait, they did do that? They got it within a year?
Yep, they got it within a year from the time that I said it. I don't remember what the numbers were, but
nice.
Sarwark continues. He says, personal, professional, and political obligations, he says, kept me from following through on my pledge in 2016. My wife, Valerie, had never been to New Hampshire and didn't sign up for the Free State Project. We were in the middle of a presidential election.
Right. I wasn't married when I signed up for the Free State Project.
And he says business ties kept me in Phoenix. Earlier this year, I was invited to be a speaker at the Porcupine Freedom Festival. Despite us being a signer from way back, it was my first time attending. The experience was incredible.
Yeah.
A sense of community, caring, cooperation, and peace. It's not easy to describe, but it's amazing to experience. And I got to say that that is the experience somebody is supposed to have at that event, at that Libertarian Camping Festival event, whether it's the Porcupine Freedom Festival or the new Fork Fest, which now happens during the same summertime at the same campground. You can go to forkfest.party to learn more about it. Whichever one you're at, you're going to be around other people who care about freedom. And it's one thing to go to a libertarian convention somewhere and, sit in a room with a bunch of other people and argue about bylaws, and that's god-awful, in my opinion. But to actually be around people who are really doing things within one geographic area, people who have not only created an amazing activist movement, but also a real community of people who, help each other even move in. They've got these things called moving parties where, people who migrate here, they come with a moving truck.
Sure.
Yep.
You let somebody know in advance where you're going to be, what time you're going to, the truck's going to be there, and, what the location is.
It's a party.
And, it wouldn't surprise me if a dozen at least, maybe even more, people showed up, no matter where you end up in New Hampshire, whether it's, the southern part of the state or even in the North Country. I heard there's a lot of people moving up there these days.
I've been on both sides of that.
You mean you've been moved in and you've helped?
I've been moved in, I've helped.
Yep, as have I, and I've done it more times than I can count. But that's just one example of the community here. In fact, it's such a large community that they don't get along with one another. And I know that some people find that frustrating. But to me, it's just a sign of success. The fact that we have so many libertarians here that you don't have to be friends with them all. In fact, you can't be friends with them all. You couldn't possibly. There's so many of them. You couldn't know who they all are. And so therefore, if there's somebody that rubs you the wrong way, that's okay. Just find somebody else you want to spend time with.
Yep.
There's plenty of them.
Yeah, just check out the history of basically any denomination of Christianity.
Sure.
You will see the same thing
Schisms,
happens.
frustration.
As they get more successful, people are like, "Oh, I can't live with this particular aspect of whatever," and then some go one way, some go another, and that's fine.
So when he came to the Porcupine Freedom Festival, it really sunk into him what it was that he'd been missing out on since he hadn't made the move yet. He says, having stepped away from day-to-day operations of the car dealership here in Phoenix, I realized there's nothing stopping me from moving now. Valerie and I discussed it, talked to our kids about it, weighed out the pros and cons, and decided together that we are moving to New Hampshire. Assuming all goes according to plan, and it doesn't always. He says, next month, we'll start our next chapter in the Granite State, surrounded by an intentional community of liberty lovers from all walks of life, and I will trade my 17-year-old signer number for a brand new mover number. Live free or die. So kudos.
Any idea where he's moving?
I don't know. Okay. That's a good question. There's 200-something comments here, but I haven't bothered reading any of them.
No.
He may
got
not
other
know
things
yet.
to do.
Might have just made the commitment.
Yeah,
and
he may not know yet.
And that's the thing about when you're moving to New Hampshire. We decided, Ian, you bought a house before, a sight unseen.
I saw pictures.
Well, that's
but yeah, I did not
unseen.
visit. I did not visit.
That's what that means.
Before moving.
And
we did the same with our rental.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I think it's a bigger commitment to buy a house.
It is.
It's crazy. Yeah. But nonetheless, that's what he did. And we had no idea what one place and another. We just sort of heard a few things here and there, and picking a place to move in a state where because everybody moves because of sort of one or two things. Is it a job? Is it?
You mean moves if we're not talking about a political migration, just moving in general?
But people in general move for a
family,
small
job.
variety of reasons. Well, I think that people might move for romantic reasons, like, hey, you live there, and we've met each other over the internet. I'll move there with it. You
could argue that would be included under family, but yeah, you could break that out as romance, sure.
Some people will move back or to be with their kids or something like that. But there's a small handful of reasons to move someplace.
Yep.
It would be rare that somebody says, I moved here because I like skiing. That's I mean, I suppose some have done it, but it's rare. But to move for the Free State Project, pretty unusual.
Like he says, it's an intentional community of liberty-loving activists, and that makes all the difference. Instead of it just being the random bunch that you happen to be in the city where you live, these are the people who want to make a difference. There's more coming up here. You can join us. It's Free Talk Live. We'll talk civil disobedience coming up.
I'm a little obsessed with My Magic Mud. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, the founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I didn't even know my teeth were coffee stained. A week's worth of use convinced me, and now I use it every 3 or 4 days. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and I think it cleans better, too. My Magic Mud's available at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, but I can get it for you for 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. FTL20, mymagicmud.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. Local.bitcoin.com. Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you're helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,405. Silver at $15.12, and Bitcoin is trading at $11,700. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, investigative journalist Vicky Ward dropped a bombshell on Tuesday in an article for the Daily Beast, where she reported that U.S. Secretary of Labor Alexander Acosta reportedly stated that ill-famed Jeffrey Epstein belonged to intelligence. The Mind Unleashed reports that Acosta reportedly made the statement during his interviews with the Trump transition team, while being vetted for his current position of Labor Secretary. As the former U.S. Attorney in Miami, Acosta infamously cut Epstein a non-prosecution plea deal in 2007 for charges related to the sexual exploitation of underage girls. After being asked if the Epstein case would cause a problem in his confirmation hearings, Acosta reportedly responded that he only ever had one meeting about the case and had been told to back off, and that Epstein was above his pay grade. Quote, "I was told Epstein belonged to intelligence and to leave it alone," end quote, Acosta told his interviewers. The Department of Labor had no comment when asked about it, according to the Daily Beast. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. A Phoenix, Arizona man who was shot in his genitals by Phoenix police during a 2017 anti-Trump rally has decided to sue. Following a recent national investigation into the social media accounts of police officers, Scottsdale resident Josh Coben discovered that not only were his genitals targeted by police pepper balls, but he was the hapless brunt of police jokes as well. President Donald Trump visited Phoenix on August 22, 2017. A subsequent rally decrying his presence in the city took place on the streets of downtown Phoenix. Instead of peacefully protecting the protesters' constitutional rights to assemble and protest, Phoenix police fired tear gas and projectiles, such as the pepper ball which struck Coben. The young man was struck in his private parts after he decided to kick a canister of tear gas back in the direction of the police. Thousands of alien enthusiasts appear to be planning to storm the infamous Area 51 in Nevada in a desperate attempt to gain entrance into the conspiracy theorist mecca. The Mind Unleashed reports that a Facebook event named Storm Area 51, They Can't Stop All of Us, was started to announce the plan, which is scheduled to take place at 3 o'clock in the morning of September 20th, 2019. At the time of this publication, 316,000 Facebook users had RSVP'd to the event, and another 340,000 confirmed they are interested in attending. At the time of publication, over 15,000 posts had been made in the group, with memes, plans on how to hatch the raid, and even merchandise created for the event populating the page. Clearly, the page is meant to be a joke, but with so many saying they want to attend, the creator of the page made sure to clear himself of responsibility if there are some willing to storm the highly secure military base. The United States Air Force facility, commonly known as Area 51, is a highly classified remote detachment of Edwards Air Force Base within the Nevada Test and Training Range. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
In a survey, nearly 100% of boys ages 12 to 15 report that they have sex all the time and are definitely not virgins. Teens say they've gone all the way on numerous occasions, including vaginal sex, oral sex, and regular sex orgies.
Previous studies suggested that most boys lose their virginity at 16 or 17. But when we gathered 13-year-olds in a room and asked them if they'd had sex, they not only said yes, but they also were clear that sex was no big deal for them, that they weren't nervous before having it, and that when they do have sex, they do it for hours at a time.
And you discovered that these young teenagers have sex with nearly every attractive woman they know, including their babysitters, teachers, and even Hollywood celebrities.
10% of boys in junior high school say they received a blowjob from Katy Perry while they were on vacation in Los Angeles.
And what about teenage girls? Did your study find out anything new about their sexual habits?
We didn't talk to any teenage girls. The boys we surveyed told us not to because they'd probably just lie and deny it.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can join us here if you want. The toll-free number on this live Sunday edition is 855-450-FREE. Still to come, New Zealand and gun confiscation. Apparently not going as well as the government goons there had hoped. We'll tell you more about that. Richie's got that story. It's Ian, Richie, and Mark in the studio here tonight. Let's go to the phones to your calls and thoughts. We'll start with Bad Slave on our Discord call-in lines. Go ahead, Bad Slave.
Thank you, Ian.
What's on your mind?
Mark and Richie, good to talk to all of you. I wanted to bring up something outside of politics that I think a bunch of us true anarchists out there, voluntarists, people.
Yeah, I don't call
that
myself an anarchist, but go ahead.
I do.
Well, these are all synonyms, so it's really of no matter.
I don't agree with that. They're synonyms at all.
But go ahead. Make your point without arguing about. Let's not argue about semantics. Go right ahead.
Good idea. I think that we need to create, or I need to create, with some other, smarter person, help, and that is a good written rejection of consent.
Go on.
That can apply at all levels of government.
So you're talking about withdrawing the purported consent that they believe that you've given them, even though at no point did many of us ever sign the social contract or the so-called social contract.
At some point or another, they'll retreat to the fact that your geographic location is consent. But
that's what they'll do. Yeah, but that's what you're referring to.
That's why we created the Shire Society.
That's what I was going to say.
That's a bunch of crap. That's crap, and they know it. And otherwise, it wouldn't be mentioned in the Declaration of Independence and in our New Hampshire Constitution.
So, did you? Did you think about the Shire Society Declaration, because that is a written basically?
That's a good start, but I don't know I actually signed it.
Uh-huh.
So I was one of the original signers of that.
It's basically a withdrawal of consent and a explicit joining of a separate society.
Right. Right.
I guess it could be better than how it is, but
he signed it. He's original signer. He's not free yet.
Yeah.
There needs to be a process created by which notification is made. And you're right.
You mean you would send notice to the bureaucrats, is what you're saying?
Well, yeah, the Secretary of State and
why don't you just write him a letter?
The governor and
Do you think that
I think that's what we're talking about here is creating basically a form letter for libertarians so that they can send it in, and then instructions on to whom to send it in, and it'll have as much effect as signing the Shire Society Declaration would be my guess.
Well, now, are you saying that the this notice should be given on an individual basis to government goons, or that there should be like a group letter?
I think that each of us are responsible for our own actions. I would never, I signed the Shire Society Declaration, and I thought that was a pretty good document. I haven't read it in a good while, but
anyone can read it anytime by going to shiresociety.com. It's Shires. I know you know, but we have listeners out there who are not you.
Exactly.
And that's shiresociety.com. You can actually go there and read it. You can print out a copy for yourself. There's a PDF version. You can sign it privately. You don't have to tell anybody that you've signed it. But what you're saying here is you do want to tell people that you want to inform the government goons that you're opting out of their system, basically.
Exactly. And it's basically, the Declaration of Independence, which brought forward our Constitution, the U.S. one, and the U.S. is really not applicable to much of the regular people. I don't know if you realize that, but the U.S. Constitution is more of a document between states and the central government.
Do you think a new declaration would be successful in getting more freedom? Like,
I don't see how it's going to make it worse. And the fact is it's written. If you read the New Hampshire Constitution yet, it's written in there.
It's not a bad constitution. There's a fair amount of good stuff.
Consent is required.
Yeah, a lot of state constitutions actually, the ones I've looked at have that.
I don't care about any other one.
Well,
sure, I'm just saying a lot of them have it.
Consent has been brought up at trials that I have attended here in New Hampshire.
Yeah, I've tried
and the prosecutors, I believe it was yours specifically, the prosecutor basically said, nuh-uh, and that was the end of it. Like, I withdraw my consent, and suddenly, nobody knew what to do with that information. Okay, he's withdrawn his consent. Well,
guilty.
No, he can't. None of the jurors none of them were given a constitutional lesson on what withdrawal of consent might look like.
That's the point I'm trying to make here, is that it needs to be couched in the right words. And, I know someone, this guy calls himself Eric Who Are You from Arkansas.
I remember
I've known
Eric.
him for a long time. He went into a courtroom on a IRS thing and walked out a free man when he basically said he didn't consent.
Wow.
And
this is a federal court?
yes, this was in California.
Wow. That's just too bad you can't get a video camera in federal court, man.
Right,
It's too bad.
There's stories of these things happening, and I don't disbelieve them. It's just that I don't know
this guy,
how replicatable these things
Right,
are.
it didn't work for Wesley Snipes.
Right, Wesley Snipes withdrew consent too.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It didn't work for Wesley Snipes.
And they put his butt in jail. You know?
Yeah. Hey, Bad Slave, thanks for the call tonight. I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it's, there's nothing wrong.
if only I had known this in prison. I could have walked up to the Sallyport gate and knocked on the plexiglass, the bulletproof plexiglass, and I said, "Excuse me, I withdraw consent. Withdraw consent. Why are these people throwing me to the ground? Stop punching me."
Oh, that's all you had to say, sir. Right this way.
Right, I don't know. I mean, the withdrawal consent thing, I get it. I like it. Yes, I withdraw my consent for so much of the governing that is done over me, but I don't know what it means. It's not magic. I can tell you that much.
The problem is, I think I've discussed this before a number of times. I don't know how often it comes up on this show. The problem is the prosecutor doesn't know and doesn't care. The judge doesn't know and doesn't care. The police don't know and don't care.
Don't know about your withdrawal of consent.
Your withdrawal of your consent, they don't care about your magic words, right?
No, they're just doing their job.
I put an article up about was it seizing cars going 5 miles over the speed limit. And
this is happening somewhere?
It was happening. They were trying to say, like, well, because they wanted to seize it. What's the word I'm looking for?
Seizure?
Confiscate?
Yeah, sure.
Possess? Steal?
True. Yeah, but I mean, there's the legal term for it that's escaping me at the moment.
All right, whatever.
But
Seizure sounds pretty good to me.
Okay, but it was whatever. Okay, so they were going to seize the cars for going 5 miles over the speed limit. And Indiana was arguing this in federal court, that yes, they have the constitutional right to do it. And the comment I got on the posting was, well, the reason that they're allowed to do this is because when you get your car, you sign over part ownership to the government.
Right. So there's
and
this
get title.
You got to get the
manufacturer's certificate of origin.
Yeah, the manufacturer's certificate of
which
origin.
I have for my moped, by the way, because I paid cash for it. But it still had to get registered. The dealership that I bought it from.
Well, Jay Noon would tell you did not have to get registered.
And he would say a lot of things.
And he's got the cred to back it up. Okay. That man drives around with no driver's license.
So do I. I mean,
but he has license plates on the back of his vehicles that he gets, from other places. So
okay, but he's gone to jail for not having a driver's license.
I'm not saying he doesn't. All these things are very interesting.
The toll-free number tonight is 855-450-FREE. And we're going to get into, speaking of opting out and not consenting in New Zealand, people are opting out of turning in their guns, apparently. Richie's got the story. That's coming up, and it's Free Talk Live.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Dynavite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle Free.
New improved LicoChaps with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try LicoChaps. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dinovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Are you concerned that the values that made America great are no longer taught in schools? Well, I am, so I got my son the Tuttle Twins children's book series.
My name is Jack, and I'm 11, and I just finished the Tuttle Twins series. It taught me about liberty, free market economics, and entrepreneurship.
Give all the young people in your life a chance at reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get it at school. There are 9 books in the series, and each one teaches a set of ideas that children aren't getting elsewhere. Go to TuttleTwins.com and use coupon code FTL to get 40% off. That's TuttleTwins.com. Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you're invited to join us on the radio waves here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. We've been talking about the Liberty migration here to New Hampshire over a lot of the show, but there's also interesting things happening around the world, including in New Zealand, where there's a large amount of people apparently who are just refusing to go along to get along, refusing to hand over their weapons in a national gun confiscation, and Richie's got the details on that story because I haven't actually looked into it. I heard the headlines, and that's about it. So we'll get into that. But also coming up here in just a few days from now, Freedom Fest kicks off, and it starts on the 17th. That's this Wednesday, so it's going to be real soon. And it's happening. It's the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. It happens in Las Vegas, and they'll have a bevy of great speakers there. Penn Jillette will be there, a longtime guest.
Looking forward to that one. I hope to go see a show.
I would love to go see. You talking about Penn and Teller?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Lenore Skenazy, longtime guest here on Free Talk Live. Other folks like John Mackey, Justin Amash, who, of course, just left the Republican Party, so I'm sure he'll have some interesting things to say. John Stossel, Kevin Sorbo, and many more. You can go to freedomfest.com/FTL, and you can learn more about the event there, as well as get the 5 best speeches from last year, which will give you a taste of what last year was like. Get on over to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. You can still use our discount code FTL50. That's FTL50 for a discount on your tickets. And it's July 17th through the 20th. That's most of this coming week here at the Hotel Paris in Las Vegas as we continue. I'd love to go see Penn and Teller. I haven't seen them since I was like 10 years old. They came to the Van Weasel in Sarasota way back.
For those of you who don't know Sarasota, this is the Purple Building.
Okay, yeah, I guess if you had seen it in Sarasota, you would know what that is.
Yeah, I mean, Van Weasel is to Sarasota as the Opera House is to Sydney. I mean, not to say that
without the
Sarasota.
Renown.
So I've heard of the Opera House.
Yeah.
I have no idea what the Van Weasel is.
Have you heard of Sarasota?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you seen any pictures from Sarasota?
No.
Usually, if you see a picture that isn't just sort of somebody taking a picture with them with a horseshoe crab on the beach or whatever, if some picture from Sarasota, any kind of montage is going to include this
the Van Weasel.
purple building.
Yeah, I remember they were like super cool because they came out after the show and just kind of hang out and meet the audience because when everybody's leaving, then they just kind of come out and it was cool. Very cool people. So we'll hopefully get to talk to them. We've never actually had Penn Jillette on Free Talk Live, so looking forward to that. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL. So it was earlier this year, I think, when the horrifying shooting occurred at the mosque, a couple different mosques.
Christchurch.
Yeah,
massacre.
in Christchurch, New Zealand, and we reported on it here on Free Talk Live. I actually watched the video, and we kind of commented on that on the air. It was horrifying to watch that video. And now, apparently, gun confiscation is the next step over there.
Right, and they're going to take away the guns from everybody, and that's going to solve the problem, and they're never going to have a massacre again.
Well, and the interesting thing is, the reason I pulled up this article is because they touted that. Right, like immediately after the shooting, the New Zealand legislature went into session, banned all guns, and then declared to the world, see, this is what you do when this type of massacre occurs.
I thought they left exemptions for shooting varmints.
They may have.
Yeah.
But I mean, the big news was gun turn in your guns, we're banning all guns. This is, see, America, you could do this too with all your mass
Yeah, I think it was
shootings.
assault weapons that they banned.
Okay.
No, they didn't ban pistols?
Pistols were already banned.
Ah, okay. Gotcha.
And then so now we have this.
What's the source on this one?
Oh, man, hold on. The SHTFplan.com.
Okay. We can't say what that stands for.
Stuff happens and then hits the fan.
Yeah.
Civil disobedience, noncompliance are damaging New Zealand's gun control efforts.
Excellent.
Yes. If you want to know how to beat gun control, look no further than New Zealand. Non-compliance with the new mandatory gun buyback law is kneecapping the government's ability to enforce the law they wrote.
Right, and this what looks bad, what looks the worst for them is that when they go and they pass these laws and then nobody cooperates, oh no, now what are we going to do? Now we got to go and take all the guns from the people with the guns, which is with other people. We're going to send people with guns to take the guns from the people with guns. And, oh, jeez. Why is that our plan? Why aren't they just following the rules? Well, that's because that's what people, I mean, look, if you've got a gun, you're either, you're free, right? You don't have to listen to these people's rules. That's why people with guns go into gun-free zones and do their shootings. They don't they know that the good folks are going to follow your rules. The people that don't mind being a sniveling little serf.
Those aren't good people.
Well,
those people are part of the problem.
They're good to the people that pass the laws.
Yeah, I'm going to say these are good people who are kneecapping the government. As of last week, only 700 weapons have been turned over to New Zealand's government under the new gun control laws written in haste in the wake of the shooting at Christchurch mosques.
You know, before you go on, it does remind me of some of these gun buyback programs. That's what they're doing here is they're doing a buyback program. Now, we don't know all the details on them, but I remember reading about or hearing about a guy who made like pipe guns, basically, where he just took the cheapest, materials, PVC or whatever, metal pipes, whatever materials he could to build the most rudimentary.
Bolted it to a 2x4, called it a shotgun.
Cheap gun that you but it would work if you put a bullet in there,
right.
and, it would shoot
Single
something.
shot sort of thing.
That this guy made the cheapest, dirtiest guns that he possibly could, and then showed up at one of these buybacks and just handed them over and got like a ton of gift cards or whatever.
Yep.
I one time held a buyback program for the Bearcats here in New Hampshire. There was the Keene City Council famously had gotten a Bearcat recently, and they were so excited to have their own tank. Now they're a real government, and once they have their own tank, and so I held a buyback program so that the government could come and get a $100 Walmart gift card, and
if they turned over their Bearcat to you.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you turn over this multi-$100,000 vehicle for
$280,000?
Yeah, 208. Well, it's multi-100,000 for $280,000 vehicle for a $100 Walmart card. Oh, probably the same reason that somebody's not going to bring in an AR-15 and turn it over for a $100 Walmart card.
Another favorite of mine is where you've got a gun guy who actually shows up to set up a table across from the gun buyback table, and he's like, yeah, I'll outbid him. Come on over here.
Yep, I'll give you more for it. Yeah. Those are fun.
What are they offering you?
And part of the problem with the rudimentary shotgun is because they usually do the gun buybacks, no questions asked.
That's right.
So you bolt the pipe to a 2x4, call it,
put
the trigger on a shotgun, and then all of a sudden, here's $500.
$10 gun or whatever, and you get $500 or whatever.
Yeah,
that's brilliant. I love that stuff. But this is a little different. In this case, people aren't even showing up, right?
Yep. So 700 weapons turned in. There are an estimated 1.5 million guns with an unknown number subject to the new prohibition on semi-automatic firearms in the country overall.
Wow. Okay. Semi-automatic, for listeners that don't know, that's every time you squeeze the trigger, it fires a shot. And these are the most common style, guns out there. So they're banning semi-automatics.
Yeah.
What the hell are they going to allow you to have?
Bolt action.
Varmint rifles.
Yeah, I see what you're
saying. You could have a Henry rifle where you fling the little thing forward to advance the round.
Okay, more on the way here. If you want to join us, your comments on gun confiscation, gun control, maybe you support gun control. Do you want to round these people up that haven't turned in their guns, the 1.5 million guns, which probably is held in hundreds of thousands of hands? We're coming up. Free Talk Live.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Fact. The new NSA data center in Utah requires 1.7 million gallons of water every single day to operate. Billions of Fourth Amendment violations need massive computers and the water to cool them. That water is being supplied by the state of Utah. Fact. There's absolutely nothing in the Constitution which requires your state to help the feds violate your rights. Our message to Utah: turn it off. No water equals no NSA data center. Visit offnow.org.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll free if you want to join us here. It is the live Sunday edition of the program. We're talking about civil disobedience, non-cooperation, non-obedience. That is what's happening in New Zealand, which is an interesting result. They are apparently banning semi-automatic guns. And Mark, you said they'd already previously have banned pistols. Now banning basically anything that you can pull a trigger on and fire as many rounds as are in the
right. I think
the magazine.
Yeah, rifles and carbines would have been acceptable prior to the mass shooting.
And now they're saying, turn them in, we're going to buy them from you. And only 700 people, according to the story that you're sharing here with us, Richie, have participated thus far. Now, I believe it's still fairly early on in this buyback, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like they just started doing this?
Yeah, so the story is recent as of today. So as of last week, 700 turned in out of the estimated 1.5 million guns out there that are on the prohibited list.
Wow.
Seems like they got a ways to go.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How can they hope to get back half of those guns? What an incredible number that is.
Well, they just got to show the world that the people of New Zealand care about each other, don't want to have any more massacres, and are going to voluntarily turn over their guns because that's what keeps people safe.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've been very concerned about rapes in America, so I have made myself a eunuch.
That's how they would want you to do it. Good job. Thank you for your service.
Wow. So turning over these guns,
the only people that should be turning over their guns are people that think that they're going to commit crimes with them.
Right. Turning over.
And then it's a great idea.
Guns would not help keep people safe, because what would have actually kept people safe during this shooting is if somebody actually had a gun. This madman in Christchurch who killed, dozens of people? It's been a while since I've seen the news, but it was a lot of people that he just slaughtered, and they were completely helpless, almost completely helpless. There was like one guy who made a mad dash at the gunman and got cut down for his efforts.
But one guy picked up the emptied rifle or something like that.
That's true. Yeah, that did happen at one point.
And then he got in trouble.
Him.
He got in trouble with the cops.
Did he really?
So, well, that's what the story said.
So
at least talking to.
In that story, the guy picked up a discarded shotgun or something and then menaced the shooter with his own discarded shotgun and got him to leave sooner rather than later, I guess, was what happened there. But had somebody in that mosque actually had a gun, then it would have likely changed the odds significantly in the favor of the victims, because this guy could have actually been defended against.
Yeah, even here in the United States, there are stories out there of mass shooters being stopped early on but that don't
Really?
get the same headlines.
Oh.
Sure, they attempt to go on a mass shooting.
Surprise.
They get 1 or 2 people, and then someone with a concealed weapon puts them
Takes
down.
them down.
Right.
And then it's not a mass shooting. It's like 2 people, 2
Right.
murders.
Right.
Doesn't get outside of the regional news media or
Right.
something, right?
Well, the funny thing is they'll define a mass shooting as they want to define a mass shooting at any given time, but almost never will you see a story where they point out that, hey, somebody with a gun, be it an off-duty police officer, just your average concealed carry permit holder or whatever, they'll never say that well, hey, looks like the mass shooting was stopped. And you could go find that stuff on the internet, and you can also find a Center for Disease Control's study from the 1990s that show that more than a million incidences of guns are used in defensive fashion per year in the United States. But you don't see those numbers because because what they wanted. First off, here's how you know a liar. Is a liar will talk about people being killed with guns, and then you already know they're lying, because what they're trying to do is take in the suicide numbers, which are about 7 times the homicide numbers with guns, the murder numbers with guns, and they're trying to wrap them all together. Well, you either believe that somebody's allowed to kill themselves or you don't, but it is dishonest to wrap in the numbers of deaths. Call it gun deaths as the terminology they use.
I think they use that to bump up the police violence numbers too, right? If the cop is suicidal and kills himself, they consider that like a violence against police.
I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't surprise me if they did. In the same way they do that with alcohol-related traffic fatalities, which can include anybody who's got an open container in their car, even if it was in the passenger's hands.
Yep.
All of a sudden, that's an alcohol-related accident or fatality or whatever. Somebody died in that case.
All right, moving on.
Yeah.
SHTF plan mentioned the fact that Kiwis were disobeying the law, and things have still now changed. I think still not changed. Yeah, that's a typo.
You want to borrow my reading glasses?
No, it's
probably them.
It's a typo. Gun owners.
It's just a blog, right?
Gun owners in New Zealand have all but officially nullified the law by ignoring it. And
same story, by the way, is at Reason.com. So this is getting some pretty wide reporting.
Nice.
Okay.
And once again, it bears pointing out that responding to a horrendous crime by inflicting knee-jerk authoritarian restrictions on innocent people proves to be as ineffective means of convincing people to obey the state. New Zealand gun control fails.
I'm glad that people have a line in the sand. It's refreshing because we see so much obedience by people in society these days towards the government. It's refreshing to see people finally saying, you know what? No, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to go and turn my guns in. I'm not going to jump. Yeah, I know it's illegal, but I'm not going to do it anyway. What are you going to do about it?
I'm excited about that part, certainly. But what the government's I know what the government's going to do. I already have an answer.
Are they going to lock them all up? Because there's hundreds of thousands.
They're just going to wait to pick them off one at a time when it's convenient for them. It'll probably be done to the people who have less money to defend themselves. Those that are most vulnerable are always the ones who are least able to defend themselves.
This is true.
Because that's what the government does. So, I mean, is it a solution? No. I mean, this is they know what they're doing. The formula is embedded on this.
I think that's a general fear when it comes to breaking the law and civil disobedience in general is it takes a mass amount of people to make it effective, but it takes people individually doing it to lead the way, right? You have to show others that it's safe.
You can do it.
That you can do it.
But it's not safe. To do civil disobedience and non-cooperation is not safe. It's always highly risky. There's always a chance that you're going to get your head bit off by, the government, in figurative speaking. In some cases it might be.
Which is why it's hard to convince people to do it. So you have to be effective at doing it and get away with it to show people that.
But as Mark says, how long can they really get away with it? If for instance, you have a registered gun.
Sure.
Good luck, because they're going to start going through that list at some point. And this is yet another example of why having a registered gun is a bad plan, because if they decide to prohibit that gun that you have registered, they're going to come a knocking.
Sure.
And they're going to want to know what happened. If you're claiming, you don't have it, you lost it in a boating accident, they're going to want to know a lot. They're going to grab the metal detector and start searching your backyard or something like that. I mean, who knows how crazy these gun confiscations are going to get.
And another thing that they'll never say is that the concealed carry permit holders are the safest group of people in America, next to people who are in vegetative states, right? I mean, a concealed carry permit holder is... I believe I looked up these numbers that a cop is 10 times as safe as your average citizen, and that the concealed carry permit holder is 3 times as safe as a cop, as a likelihood to commit a felony.
Well, and you also mentioned the other co-host, Jay Noon, and myself, who free travel, if you want to call it that, without driver's license, right? We do it because we believe it's right, number one, but also to show that it can be done, right? In order to get people to accept the idea that I don't need that little piece of plastic.
But does that work? I mean,
to do what?
I've known Jay for close to a decade now, and I have never considered, well, I guess I'm just going to give up my driver's license. I mean, you have a couple of stories where you've been drug into court and, had to deal with these people. I just don't want to deal with it.
Which is fine.
Yeah. I mean,
I would say that at least myself do it on principle, right? Like I don't want to pay their fee.
I think principle is a better terminology. I don't know as an example whether it certainly hasn't been convincing to me. Maybe other people it has.
But to show people that it can be done.
Well, of course it can be done, but eventually you're probably going to get arrested.
Yeah, I know that I don't have to have a driver's license to drive.
Right.
I know that I can still drive.
The question is for how long can you get away with it until they decide to target you?
Well, if we can convince more of us to do it.
More coming up here. And if they target you, will you win?
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-301-5435. That's 800-301-5435. 800-301-5435.
Would you like to get back that full head of hair from years past? Introducing Reveal from GCNLife.com. Beverly Hills dermatologist Dr. Nathan Newman invented Reveal, which contains polypeptides with natural botanicals and no parabens, sulfates, silicones, or dyes for a salon-quality hair growth product. Reveal. Here's Dr. Newman.
I have treated a lot of patients who lose their hair and they lose their confidence. We've created a unique set of polypeptides, which we call HPT6. The HPT6 contains the polypeptides from 6 different plants. The scalp infusion treatment should be used on wet or dry scalp. The Reveal hair care system is designed to be used for men and women alike.
Get Reveal at GCNLife.com with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So try Reveal today at GCNLife.com or 844-443-6637. Plus a discount up to 25% off for Reveal at GCNLife.com or 844-443-6637.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can join us here. Our toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. You can hop into any one of those and comment. It doesn't have to be about gun control, which the New Zealand government is failing to put into place. Now, they've got a prohibition that they've passed on semi-automatic rifles, and apparently only about 700 of them have been turned in as part of
more than a million.
Out of more than, I think, 1.5 is what they said. Yeah. And from what I was reading on the Reason.com article about this same topic, they interviewed a Philippa Jasbeck of Gun Control New Zealand who admitted, quote, "These weapons are unlikely to be confiscated by police because they don't know of their existence. They will become black market weapons if their owners choose not to comply with the law and become criminals instead." So I guess they're not registered. In fact, it says here that traditionally relaxed in its approach to firearms regulation and enjoying a low crime rate, New Zealand has no firearms registration rule. That means authorities don't have any easy way of knowing what guns are in circulation or who owns them. So
let's emulate that here.
Yeah, that's good news.
Right. I mean, a gun shouldn't be any different than a lawnmower. You shouldn't be asked to register it. I mean, what more crimes are committed with simple tools like hammers and wrenches and things like that than are with guns? They don't ask you to register those things.
Not yet. Oh, well, don't give them any ideas over in the UK, Mark.
Yeah, they've already banned like knives and cooking instruments.
Yeah. Spoon.
Terrible there.
What else do we need to know about this?
Politicians are left scratching their heads and wondering why New Zealanders won't comply with their authoritarian edicts. The so-called gun reform was expected to rid the vast New Zealand countryside of most semi-automatic firearms, magazines over a specified limit, and shotguns. New Zealand
getting rid of shotguns.
Yeah,
all right,
well, that too. New Zealand's political chatelaine, Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, had an almost unanimous parliamentary vote to institute the gun buyback, though as Liberty Nation legal affairs editor Scott Cosenza asserted, buyback is really a misnomer because the government never owned those guns in the first place.
Yeah.
New Zealand's government also stepped up censorship and domestic surveillance after the bloody attacks of the two Christchurch mosques earlier this year, flinging itself into a full-blown authoritarian tyranny.
Yeah, they actually went after people for simply sharing the video.
That dude I think he got a prison sentence.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Like, I would look that up.
Yeah, we didn't follow up on that.
Okay,
story,
I think that's recent that he was like sentenced recently, or that he was facing jail time at this point for sharing the video.
Well, but what we learned at the time though was that they've had a censorship policy there. That wasn't new. I mean, they may have been cracking down extra hard, but they've had censorship in New Zealand since like the 1800s. I mean, basically from the founding of the country, they've had a censorship board or a official government censor that has censored everything from movies to music to even banned T-shirts, like rock bands T-shirts. They got some imagery on them they didn't like. They would tell them you couldn't sell those here.
Christchurch man jailed for sharing video footage of massacre. Philip Arps,
Wow.
There you go.
sentenced to 21 months for glorifying and encouraging the mass shooting in New Zealand.
Jeez.
There you go.
He's a businessman.
Not anymore.
And it's video evidence of the thing. I mean, glorifying or whatever.
Right.
It's got to get out there so the rest of the world can see what's going on.
Well, I tend to agree with you on that, even though I specifically...
Arps had described it as awesome and had showed no empathy to the victims.
I don't think that would have helped him much, even if
Who
he
knows?
had. Because they just don't want that stuff spreading.
I don't know.
I made the statement that I don't think people should watch it because it's highly disturbing. I mean, it is highly violent. Some of the most violent footage I think I've ever seen. I mean, I've certainly seen some of the stuff out of ISIS or whatever, when they were releasing some pretty
I've
horrifying
stopped
videos.
watching this stuff because it's just not good for my brain.
No, it's not good at all. Not good. And that's why I wanted to express that to people about how bad it really was. But I think you should be able to if that's something you really want to do.
Well, and I think I'm somewhat desensitized to a lot of that violent stuff because I remember the Faces of Death series on VHS.
I remember that too, but
this cannot be anything like Faces of
thanks,
Death.
but no thanks.
Better or worse?
Like, I remember seeing a little bit of Faces of Death, and this is pretty horrifying. Did they have anything like that on Faces of Death that you saw?
I remember some pretty bad, decapitations and limbs being removed, and a
lot of those are accidental, though, right? On Faces of Death,
some of it was, Middle Eastern countries, and that's the sentence that they, this guy was found guilty of theft, and now
chopped
he's chopped his hand off, and
Yeah.
look at his face while they're cutting it. So
it's gross.
I've seen deers running through a minefield, and there
Wow.
they go.
A deer?
So, yeah.
Okay.
Oh man.
But I mean, I'm just saying, extreme violence.
Right.
I've been, as a youngster, right, as a teenager watching that stuff.
Yeah, I was a teenager, watched it too, but I just don't have any stomach for it these days. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah. The only thing I'm prone to get a little bit queasy over is broken legs because I suffered one.
Yeah.
And then now it's now I can feel it.
Hate those
see
videos.
the bone. You see the bone sticking out of somebody's
Mine was
leg.
internal,
just
so
see
it
it
wasn't a bad deal.
Sideways. Yuck.
Yeah.
Yep. That's kind of what I did. No bone sticking out on my injury though. New Zealand government also stepped up the censorship, yada, yada, yada. But that isn't convincing the public that they need to obey the commands of the government. As it turns out, people want to be free, and noncompliance is the way that they are maintaining a shred of their liberty.
Right. Basically, you either can own a gun or, only free people can own guns, ultimately. That's it. I mean,
What do you mean?
A free man can own a weapon, and somebody who's somebody's serf
Because you're still not
can't.
free if you own a weapon.
I'm not claiming that owning a weapon makes you free.
Okay.
But that a free person can.
Sure.
It is a hallmark of freedom.
Okay.
You need other hallmarks. Here in the United States, even though you can own a weapon, you are not free. But nonetheless, it is
Right.
a hallmark of freedom.
If
They
you
have
couldn't hold
gun-
a weapon, you would definitely not be free.
And they have gun registration in the United States. They didn't have that in New Zealand. So
Some places in the United States. Yeah.
Well, no, the federal government, if you buy a gun, it's going to be there's a record of that. If you buy it through a legal channel, now you can buy
or a rifle. A shotgun
any
or a rifle?
gun you go into a store and buy, there's a record of that.
Okay.
They're sending off a background check to the federal government to see if you can, pistol or whatever it is you're going to buy.
Well, don't buy it from a store then.
That's what I'm saying. If you do buy from an individual in some states,
I've seen people buy a shotgun at a store and walk out with it on September the 11th,
I don't believe
2001.
it. Oh, in 2001? Maybe it changed since then, dude. But as I understand it, now again, I'm not deep into the gun world. I like weapons, and I've certainly had a few of them over time. But I've never bought them legally because it's my understanding you always have to fill out a form, and that form gets sent into the ATF. And
You've never bought them at a store.
That's what I mean.
Right.
Yeah. Right. It's still legal in New Hampshire, for instance, to buy a gun from an individual. It just doesn't require the paperwork.
I think you can buy a handgun at a what do you call those things? Gun show, as long as you get the registration. They'll run your name through some law enforcement database or whatever, and that's about it.
There's some jurisdiction making it mandatory or attempting to make it mandatory for private sales to go through a background check as well.
That's terrifying.
How are they going to
I don't know how they're going to do that.
Yeah.
But some people will comply. Basically, they just make it harder.
Well, yeah, but individual, you as a gun owner, you're going to have to fill out the forms to do a background
Sure.
check on private sale. And how many times you're going to have to do? It's ridiculous. Yeah.
It'll just mean that plenty of owners will just refuse to sell guns that way.
Sure.
And it'll be great for the gun stores because then people have to sell to gun stores.
Gun owners at this point will most likely never turn in their now banned weapons in either. Officials should have seen this coming. Police are anticipating a number of people with banned firearms in their possession won't surrender them. Stuff reported at the end of May.
The number appears to be at this point 1.5 million.
minus 700.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, I think we can safely just not mention the 700 since 700 have turned them in.
Statistically insignificant.
It is, yeah.
Yes. Kiwis have officially taken a stand for their rights against their own government. Since New Zealanders didn't register their guns, cops have no idea where to now find the now illegal weapons.
Yeah.
And even if people started registering their guns going forward, confiscation is all but impossible.
But why would that be? I mean, if you're going to register a gun, then it's highly possible to confiscate.
Well,
at that point.
Well, because there's still going to be all the 1.5 million still in circulation.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would not register a gun in New Zealand at any point.
Right. It's hard to declare a victory here with basically outlawing guns in New Zealand when there's 1.5 million unregistered guns floating around.
By the way, this is what the guy who did the shooting, the lunatic psychopath, this is what he wanted. He actually wanted.
Who knows what he wanted? I mean,
well, no, he had a paper.
He had a bunch of things, though.
He had a manifesto. There's actually an excerpt from it here on the Reason article. We can share that coming up as well. The toll-free number, if you want to join us, is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. As we continue here, we got hour number 3 coming up on the live Sunday edition of Free Talk Live. And, of course, you can bring up whatever you want. 855-450-FREE, or jump into our Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. This is Free Talk Live.
Are you concerned that the values that made America great are no longer taught in schools? Well, I am, so I got my son the Tuttle Twins children's book series.
My name is Jack, and I'm 11, and I just finished the Tuttle Twins series. It taught me about liberty, free market economics, and entrepreneurship.
Give all the young people in your life a chance at reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get it at school. There are 9 books in the series, and each one teaches a set of ideas that children aren't getting elsewhere. Go to TuttleTwins.com and use coupon code FTL to get 40% off. That's TuttleTwins.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,405. Silver at $15.12, and Bitcoin is trading at $11,700. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at InnoScale.net. In the news, Investigative journalist Vicky Ward dropped a bombshell on Tuesday in an article for the Daily Beast, where she reported that U.S. Secretary of Labor Alexander Acosta reportedly stated that ill-famed Jeffrey Epstein belonged to intelligence. The Mind Unleashed report said Acosta reportedly made the statement during his interviews with the Trump transition team, while being vetted for his current position of Labor Secretary. As the former U.S. Attorney in Miami, Acosta infamously cut Epstein a non-prosecution plea deal in 2007 for charges related to the sexual exploitation of underage girls. After being asked if the Epstein case would cause a problem in his confirmation hearings, Acosta reportedly responded that he only ever had one meeting about the case and had been told to back off, and that Epstein was above his pay grade. Quote, "I was told Epstein belonged to intelligence and to leave it alone," end quote, Acosta told his interviewers. The Department of Labor had no comment when asked about it, according to the Daily Beast. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. A Phoenix, Arizona man who was shot in his genitals by Phoenix police during a 2017 anti-Trump rally has decided to sue. Following a recent national investigation into the social media accounts of police officers, Scottsdale resident Josh Coben discovered that not only were his genitals targeted by police pepper balls, but he was the hapless brunt of police jokes as well. President Donald Trump visited Phoenix on August 22, 2017. A subsequent rally decrying his presence in the city took place on the streets of downtown Phoenix. Instead of peacefully protecting the protesters' constitutional rights to assemble and protest, Phoenix police fired tear gas and projectiles, such as the pepper ball which struck Coben. The young man was struck in his private parts after he decided to kick a canister of tear gas back in the direction of the police. Thousands of alien enthusiasts appear to be planning to storm the infamous Area 51 in Nevada in a desperate attempt to gain entrance into the conspiracy theorist mecca. The Mind Unleashed reports at a Facebook event named Storm Area 51, They Can't Stop All of Us, was started to announce the plan, which is scheduled to take place at 3 o'clock in the morning of September 20th, 2019. At the time of this publication, 316,000 Facebook users had RSVP'd to the event, and another 340,000 confirmed they are interested in attending. At the time of publication, over 15,000 posts had been made in the group, with memes, plans on how to hatch the raid, and even merchandise created for the event populating the page. Clearly, the page is meant to be a joke, but with so many saying they want to attend, the creator of the page made sure to clear himself of responsibility if there are some willing to storm the highly secure military base. The United States Air Force facility, commonly known as Area 51, is a highly classified remote detachment of Edwards Air Force Base within the Nevada Test and Training Range. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
A harrowing situation on Broad Street came to its conclusion Thursday night as a group of hostages were freed from local comedy club The Laugh Up Lounge after a tense 7-minute stand-up set.
Every once in a while, he'd grab his notebook, and I'd think maybe this is it. Maybe he's gonna let us go. But he just kept talking.
Additionally, The Onion recovered this video footage from the cell phone of one of the many captives.
Hey, sir, what do you do for work? If someone sees this, help us. Please help us. Yeah, micromanagement. You guys are totally gonna wang it out. Oh my god. Oh my god, no. Cool.
I'm not a religious person, but at one point I said the Lord's Prayer, and it actually had a calming effect. Like Jesus was standing next to me and said, "You're gonna get through this."
I mean, sometimes you're just in the wrong place at the wrong time. You know,
don't take life for granted, because you just never know when something like this could happen. So,
this is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. As we launch into the third hour of the program, you're invited to join us here. We've been discussing the attempted gun confiscation, or what they're calling a buyback in New Zealand. Yeah, failed with an insignificant number of people, only about 700 guns being turned in. We don't know by how many people, but presumably a few hundred. Turning in guns to this thing, but over an estimated 1.5 million guns remain. And interestingly, since New Zealand did not have gun registration, they don't really know who or where has those guns, and so there's not really a whole lot they can do about it besides beg people to turn them in at this point.
Appeal to their Kiwi spirit.
Appeal to their obedience, which apparently they're not feeling very obedient. I love that. I love it when people just say no to the government. I wish it happened more often. I wish people would take this level of seriousness when it comes to every government regulation of their business and refuse to cooperate with the ridiculous nonsense that they shove down our throats
I wish
every day.
This story got as much press as the original banning of the weapons. That was like such big news after the shooting.
Well, at least it is getting coverage elsewhere. Reason.com has a piece about it as well. But let's go to your phone calls and thoughts. By the way, it's Ian tonight.
Richie Rich.
And Mark.
And don't forget to check out Richie on his show, The Anarchist Experience.
Yep, anarchistexperience.com.
You cut a show, on Saturdays typically?
Yep, we did it yesterday.
What'd you cover? Do you remember?
Civil asset forfeiture is the term I was working on earlier. So we
when
covered
they were seizing cars?
Seizing that car, and the Hawaii governor vetoed a bill to restrict what the police can take.
Oh, so they were trying to make civil asset forfeiture more difficult.
More
with the bill?
difficult, and
he shot it down.
He shot it down. Now the weird thing in that case, it was a Democratic-sponsored bill.
Mm-hmm.
And a
Democratic
Democratic
governor?
veto. Yeah. So a little bizarre there.
Well, not so bizarre. I mean, usually the governors are in the pockets of the police, regardless of whether they're a Democrat or a Republican. They are the head of the executive branch, right? So they get to, have some level of influence over the policing of the state. And so the police are constantly whispering in their ears, telling them what to do. That's what happened here with legalization, for instance, in New Hampshire. Of marijuana, exactly. Although, to the governor's credit here, he did sign decriminalization against what the police wanted him to do. So he was right on that instance. And actually, we may end up – I'm hoping that later this year we'll see another decrim bill introduced. That's one of the things I was talking with some of the state reps about last night when I was off the show. I was at the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance annual dinner. And, of course, if you go to this event, you're surrounded by – liberty-friendly state representatives, many of whom are very principled and some not as principled, but pretty friendly.
Glad they're there.
Yeah, these are people who you can talk to, who are actually like the guy who won the 100% Liberty Rep of the Year award. I know him personally.
Nice.
I didn't know him before moving here, but I got to know him after testifying at the State House a bunch. He came up to me and shook his hand. This was before he won the award. Afterwards, congratulated him, got a photo together. But he said he actually misses my testimony at the State House because I didn't go as much this year, given that I always would go to support Daryl. And he moved out of the area, and I don't think he's been doing as much at the State House since he left. He's kind of changed, and he's focusing more on I think he just got his certification for like a personal trainer kind of thing. So he's been kind of moving his life.
He's been kind of ill too, so he hasn't been.
Yeah, he bumped his head again. He's got another concussion.
Yeah,
so
he gets lots of concussions. It's a shame.
But anyway, he's still doing Liberty Lobby. Just it wasn't as heavy this year. So and I would normally drive him there, so I'd get a lot of footage and have the chance to testify and stuff. But this year, because he wasn't around, I didn't get catch wind of a lot of what was going on. Maybe I would have wanted to go for some stuff, but I don't know what it was. It's a lot to keep track of what these bureaucrats or these politicians.
Yeah, they're
are doing
busy coming after your freedom.
That's 1,000 bills, basically 900 or 1,000 bills a year that they all have to get public hearings. Anyway, let's go to Jet. He's on the line somewhere in the U.S. Go ahead, Jet.
Hey, I wanted to let you guys know that did you know the government of New Zealand doesn't do anything and it doesn't hear what anybody has to say. Anyway,
when you say that, you mean the government is just an idea. It's that's what you're saying.
Yeah, I brought in 7 questions, true and false questions for you guys that I'd like to go over real quick.
Sure.
Yeah, let's hear them.
Okay, number 1. These are all just yes or no. Are these people who call themselves government other humans?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, everybody agrees with
You
that?
can't be sure.
They're lizard
Yeah,
people.
I agree with that one.
I've seen the eyes blink
number
sideways.
2.
They are other beings.
Yes. Do these people who call themselves government have a God-given mandate to make rules over other humans?
I think they do, but I would say no.
I'm going to
Yes
say
or no? Yes or no?
I would say no.
Okay. Do these people who call themselves government, do their written opinions truthfully apply to anyone other than themselves?
No.
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 Okay, number 4.
However, there are men with guns that will apply their opinions to other
Question
people.
number 4.
I guess it's the definition of apply. But go right ahead. I don't want to be Bill Clinton in this.
Okay.
I did not lay my hands on that
number 4,
definition.
Are these people who call themselves government willing to kill you if you disagree with their opinions?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ultimately, if it's a law, then somebody's got to enforce it. And if somebody's got to enforce it and you don't want it enforced, at that point you've committed a new, much more dangerous law-breaking thing, which is, not respecting their authority, which means that they ultimately can kill you over it.
Yes,
Disobeying a police officer.
The magic word, the sorcery of this thing called authority. Number 5, are these people who call themselves government the same people today as there were 200 years ago or even last year?
Well, definitely not 200 years ago.
They're not the same ones. No.
Yeah.
Not the same ones. Number 6, are these people who call themselves government, when they demand that we labor for them, that is, give them a portion of our proceeds from our labor, are we then slaves?
To some degree, yes.
Yes, I would say.
I think that, so I'm going to call it new terminology called free-range serfs, but I will then go ahead and admit that this terminology that I have created is under the umbrella of those that are enslaved, right? I mean, yes, I think that's true, but many people find the terminology slave to be sort of triggering. I don't know why exactly, because slavery has existed throughout human history, but I'm going to call it free-range serf. But go ahead.
The last one is, can we set ourselves free from these people who call themselves government, who believe that their opinions apply to us and who are willing to kill us if we disagree?
We can. I would say yes, but it's going to take some time.
Ken?
Okay.
Well, it isn't easy.
We've got to contribute. We've got to.
Could I talk you into discontinuing the use of the word "the government"?
So I put up a new sign in the
you put up a
here.
sign the last time Jet called in, right?
Yeah,
or emailed or something.
It wasn't too long ago.
It's been
he's
a
called
few
a couple
months.
of times. And Jet, for whatever reason, this is just a very entrenched
This
term.
sign has helped me. The fact that we have the sign here.
It does take practice.
It takes practice.
Yeah, for our listeners that don't know, if you haven't watched on the streams, if you watch on the streams, you'll usually see it in the background. It says, "Don't say government. Say government people or goons, tyrants, despots, parasites, thugs, mafia gang, idiots, liars, thieves, lunatics, killers, gang members." And having that sign up there has definitely helped me be more on message than if it wasn't there.
I'm going to make one that faces the other wall, where no one
you can see it, you mean?
But I'll be looking at it more often, because you get to look at it all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
My back is to that side.
Not looking at it as quite as much.
Yeah, maybe we need another one over there, Mark. So we need one for that wall, for that co-host in the third
Fine.
chair.
Well, if you
I've
put
got
it
paper.
there, I can angle off to the wall across from Mark.
I could do this all day.
Hey, Jet, I don't know if you were done, but if you weren't, stand by. We can bring you back here. 855-450 free. I totally support what Jet is saying about saying the right words to describe what these government goons are, right? The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. Because we have to be able to communicate these ideas to people and shake them out somehow from their sleep. More coming up here. This is Free Talk Live. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. .bitcoin.com.
I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app. Are you concerned that the values that made America great are no longer taught in schools? Well, I am, so I got my son the Tuttle Twins children's book series.
My name is Jack, and I'm 11, and I just finished the Tuttle Twins series. It taught me about liberty, free market economics, and entrepreneurship.
Give all the young people in your life a chance at reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get it at school. There are 9 books in the series, and each one teaches a set of ideas that children aren't getting elsewhere. Go to TuttleTwins.com and use coupon code FTL to get 40% off. That's TuttleTwins.com. I'm crazy about My Magic Mud. This is the most important oral care product created this millennium, and I'm not kidding. We all have different opinions on politics and issues, but we all have mouths, and I want yours to be as clean as possible with teeth as bright as they were meant to be. I will never be without My Magic Mud. It's a little surprising, but man, does it work. If you only listen to one thing I say ever, go to mymagicmud.com and get 20% off with code FTL. mymagicmud.com, code FTL.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISS Paris.com.
Live video of our key New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want here. If you dial in toll-free, our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. It's 855-450-3733. If you're an individual who rejects the initiation of force and you agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle, you should get over to liberty.menu, and you can utilize this useful tool for the Liberty community, which actually allows you to list the things that you do. Maybe you've got a business that you run and you want some new customers. Maybe you've got an event that you are working on that you're putting together. You want other people to attend it. Maybe you are a digital content creator and you got a podcast or a video channel or something you want other people in the freedom movement to know about. Liberty.menu allows you to list the things that you do, and it's free to use it. So unless you don't want more publicity, unless you don't want people to know that you care about freedom, you ought to get on over to liberty.menu, create your account. You can use code FTL, get a special Free Talk Live listener badge, and start listing the things that you do. It's a free website. There are some upgrades available to your listings if you would like, and it's a very, very small amount of money to do that too. Head over to liberty.menu. Great tools. We go back to your calls and thoughts here. Jet is still with us somewhere in the U.S. Go ahead, Jet.
Somewhere. As you may or may not recall, I am a dedicated disciple of Christ, and I'm in my Bible every single day. But what I've been trying to get at with this last segment is the psychology of people living under this mythical monster called government. And what I'm trying to do is get people to counteract that in their mind by simply understanding that these are people, they're just other humans. And they have no more right to do anything on this planet that you or I do.
I think that just to play devil's advocate here for you, Jet, because I think we'll all agree with the things that are coming out of your mouth. But what somebody would say is, well, it's part of a system. I mean, they are just people, but we voted for them.
I will also bring up Romans 13.
It's magic. They cannot get any authority, as you were saying before, in any other way than simply taking it, stealing the authority. In other words, and you've used this same logic before. You can't give to somebody else what you yourself don't have. You can't give someone gold if all you have is silver.
But you could hire someone to tell you what to do. I mean, if you wanted somebody, some purported expert or a so-called authority to be able to tell you how to live your life, you could absolutely pay somebody.
Life coaches.
What's an interior designer? I mean, really, except somebody's going to tell you how to decorate your house.
I think there would be a fair amount of people who want to be told what to do, honestly, Jet. We are in the minority of people.
Then leave me out of it.
Right. Sure. Well, that's the difference, is the person who is saying these things, they themselves may want to be told what to do, or they themselves may actually be consenting to this insane system, but they also want to force you into it, and that's the problem.
Yeah, someone could go choose to hang themselves, by their toes. That's fine. Just leave me out of it.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. So the psychology there, the anti-psychology, is to find yourself in a place where you see, talk to, treat, otherwise understand these people who believe that there's something else, which is a mental illness, by the way, to see them as just other humans who have absolutely no God-given right to do anything that they do. And that's my message.
I think that's important, and I thank you for calling and reiterating it. Thank you, Jet. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. Let's go to, we got Mortified Penguin calling himself Decolonized Liberty now on our Discord server. Go ahead there, Penguin.
Hey guys, I just wanted to talk about the greater topic of immigration. Really, what's been on my mind and what's getting me wanting to call into the show, and really, it's been radicalizing me and been the focus of a lot of what I was listening to.
He's a Muslim and he's being radicalized. By the way, just for our listeners, we had our last caller was Christian. You're a Muslim, just so thought it's worth pointing out.
Yeah. Now we need the Jewish call in. I know there's a few listening. So.
And that'll be all the religions of the book. Then we need a Hindu and Zoroastrian and go.
Anyway, sorry, what were you calling about? Go ahead.
Buddhist. I was calling about the immigration topic, and so I was listening on NPR today, and they were talking about they were interviewing some people in Miami, Latina people. I would assume they were female, Latinas, and they were not murderers or drug dealers or rapists. They were business owners, shop and stall owners in Miami, and they were given the interview, of course, in Spanish. Been to Miami is mostly what's spoken there in large parts, and they are doing really, really poorly with their business because nobody's coming out with the Trump regime's intimidation tactics with these ICE raids, which of course was just an intimidation tactic. They don't tell you when they do their raids, but really having
it's a terrible idea just to announce your raid.
Right.
Yeah, they don't actually do that.
I don't even know if you
they
can
have
call
large
it a raid.
swaths of the country. large portions of the population, in fear and in hiding, and even people that are not, undocumented, but including, of course, people that have come here without going through the government process.
Well, it's not unheard of for American citizens to be deported and not allowed into the United States until they can prove that they're American citizens. That happens.
So I may have missed something. You said these Latina business owners are struggling with their business because they were,
I think, both like clothing businesses, and nobody was coming then from their community out because everybody was
afraid
in fear of these raids in large cities.
Okay.
Are they afraid they're going to get raided while they're shopping at a clothing store?
Yeah, that's the part I'm a little lost on.
Yeah, in public, they were urged to stay out of public in general by people that were sympathetic, and they don't tend to take people at their house. They tend to take them in transit or at workplaces.
We've seen them doing workplace raids. I just didn't know if they were doing other kinds of raids.
Getting the customers wrapped up with the workplace raid, because that seems extraordinary.
Well, they try to take you, when you're in transit or out in public or in transit.
It's going to be a lot easier to catch you in a car. At this point, Americans are all for stop and people being stopped and asked for their papers.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and I think if you're like a legal resident or something, or maybe right below that, but if you're here legally, you still have to have the papers on you, or you will get fined or something. They're cited for that by authorities. I actually heard that I think on this show about something about close to the northern border. So you got to have your papers.
Oh, right. You may be. So what he's saying, when you're here legally, if you have your green card or whatever, you got to carry that with you.
Oh, okay.
You must have that. Now, if you're a
That's
citizen,
true in a lot of places.
If you're a citizen, you don't necessarily have to have your papers.
Okay.
But there's sort of hallmarks to being a citizen. If you just speak Spanish to them, and you say you don't have, and you're refusing to answer questions, you do the sort of things that I did when I was down at the border it wasn't at the border. I was several miles within the United States on I-10 and just getting stopped at a standing checkpoint. And I started asking them questions about, the legality of detention without any sort of belief that I've committed a crime, reasonable articulable suspicion. If you do that in Spanish, it ain't going to go well.
So that's what I wanted to get at. People are. It's not just people that are undocumented or have an active order of a removal or whatever it's called. It's people don't want to be in public because of their appearance, or they don't want to speak Spanish or public their own language, and where they in their
That's
communities
scary.
and everything. They don't. Because you can be harassed, you can be next at a place where there is a raid. You could be, they said they will round up anybody who's in the area that has
But these haven't actually
reason
happened, is what you're saying? The recent announcement of these hasn't come to fruition?
So I've actually heard them recently say they've called off raids because they don't like to announce when they are. So they never
There's more coming up here. Stand by. It's Free Talk Live.
Business owners, you want more customers? Accept cryptocurrencies. There's people around you just waiting to spend money at your store. If only you would take it. I know, you've been waiting till someone else makes it easy. Well, good news. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com adds Bitcoin to your point of sale. Totally free. Use the same equipment you already have, now with Bitcoin. And unlike credit cards, there's no fees. Let the guys at HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com bring new customers to your store. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com.
Are you concerned that the values that made America great are no longer taught in schools? Well, I am, so I got my son the Tuttle Twins children's book series.
My name is Jack, and I'm 11, and I just finished the Tuttle Twins series. It taught me about liberty, free market economics, and entrepreneurship.
Give all the young people in your life a chance at reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get it at school. There are 9 books in the series, and each one teaches a set of ideas that children aren't getting elsewhere. Go to TuttleTwins.com and use coupon code FTL to get 40% off. That's TuttleTwins.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Are you a sneezer? If you're not, can you get close to one? I don't literally mean someone sneezing. Sneezer, as defined by marketing guru Seth Godin, is an opinion leader. When a sneezer mentions something, other people catch what Godin calls the idea virus. Seth Godin says some people are more likely to tell their friends about a great new idea. So identifying and courting sneezers is a key success factor for idea merchants. His book, Unleashing the Idea Virus, is the most downloaded ebook in history, and you can download the whole book free. That's how he's making his idea contagious. Click Tips, Tricks, and other stuff to help you cut through the clutter at www.survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It is Free Talk Live. You can join us here. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms. They're open and available to you over at discord.lrn.fm. With you tonight, it's Ian,
Richie Rich,
and Mark.
We go back to your phone calls and thoughts. We can talk more about the gun ban in New Zealand or whatever you want to discuss here on Free Talk Live. Let's go back to Mortified Penguin. He's on the line on our Discord servers. You were calling about these what apparently were announced raids that were subsequently disannounced, and that apparently the announcement of these raids has put a bit of a pallor of fear over people, and they haven't been coming out to,
you can imagine,
on customers even.
To do the things that they would normally do, which is to say patronize local businesses in areas that are heavy with immigrants. That is hurting the businesses in many cases. I remember reading about, I think it was a few years ago during, I think it probably was the Obama administration, when some of these raids were happening. Just for listeners who aren't clear, businesses have been being raided by ICE, the Immigrations and Customs Enforcement Bureaucracy, for years. It hasn't just well, ICE didn't exist prior. They renamed
immigration
it.
raids.
Yeah.
INS before that.
You know, these have been going on under the Barack Obama administration. I don't remember hearing about them before the Obama administration.
He was called the Deporter-in-Chief at one point.
Was he?
I heard that had something to do with the redefining what deportation was. I don't know.
But I remember reading about one of them that targeted, I think it was like a meatpacking plant in a small town, and I don't remember which state. But they targeted this meatpacking plant. They went in with guns and they held their employees at gunpoint or whatever and pawed through the files and tried to figure out who was so-called illegal and not. And they arrested like a bunch of people out of this meatpacking plant, basically shutting this meatpacking plant down because they took out so many employees. But also, because it was a small town, the town's economy was like decimated, basically. Like, you arrested all the employees at the number one employer in town. Well, guess what? The convenience store that sells them their coffee in the morning and their donuts is also down as far as its business is concerned.
Americans who were making money off of folks that came here to find a better life for themselves and, probably send some money home. Well, those people were missing out too. They're destroying real economies.
Everyone.
These are government employees that do not have to respond to market forces, going out, following orders, admittedly.
They probably don't even live in the small town they raided.
And destroying economies.
Yeah.
And
I've heard that story a bunch.
Yeah, I bet it does happen a lot. Yep.
So what's the recourse?
I heard about one recently. They're talking about NPR near International Falls, Minnesota. But I mean, I've heard that story a bunch of times. I think they've had it all kinds of places. They have like chicken packing plants up in somewhere in Virginia. Same thing. Pork plants we have here. But anyways, I wanted to.
I think you had a question, Richie.
Did the article offer any recourse for the business owners or for the people in that area? Like, what is the business owner to do at this point to generate business and continue their business in the face of the government potential raids?
Well, technically it's illegal to hire people that are undocumented, and they have the E-Verify system and everything. So I doubt they get any sympathy from the authorities.
Well, I'm thinking more about the customers. You're saying that the raids are keeping customers away because they're afraid of getting picked up off the streets. Like how do it may be rhetorical, but how do the business owners maintain their business and continue onward with customers too afraid?
This was just today when the raids were announced. So I said, I hope that people will not be in hiding for very long. It's just an intimidation tactic. Like they pointed out, these raids happen every day, all the time. Typically not on Sundays because they said that it's harder for the government thugs to track the activity, track people's routines, and get them in transit. But they said they don't actually do them on one particular day. They do them all the time, every day of the year, potentially.
Yeah, I don't think there's a good answer to the question, Richie. I mean, the answer is if you can't get more customers through the door, you're probably going to go under. You're probably going to go out of business. Maybe move to a place that is more welcoming towards immigrants. I mean, eventually, if the United States government cracks down hard enough, it will prevent people from wanting to come here because it will turn into a total police state. And who really wants to to escape to a place like that?
Which is apparently the Trump regime's goal.
Well, I mean, it's been the goal the whole time. I mean, Barack Obama. Trump's just building on what Barack Obama built on top of what George W. Bush built on top of what, so on and so on and so on.
Well, there's the old quip that the only thing worse than the United States domestic policy is its foreign policy. So if, a lot of the refugees are coming from South American countries that have been decimated economically anyway. So if you continue to decimate those economies through foreign policy, they're going to have they're going to need someplace to escape to. In many
cases, they have really crappy governments, governments that we would consider worse than the United States government.
Absolutely.
However, in a lot of cases, once you've made your money in the United States, it's a good idea to head on down to those places because if you don't have to make a living there, you don't have to worry about those. You just move down there and spend your your Social Security check or whatever. You're living like a king comparatively.
Thank you for the call tonight.
Pay your exit tax.
Appreciate it there, Mortified Penguin.
You don't have to pay an exit tax if you don't give up your U.S. citizenship.
Okay.
Now, an exit tax is only
but if you don't give up the U.S. citizenship, then they think they can just tax you everywhere you go.
Right. I was talking specifically about retirees. I mentioned Social Security.
Gotcha.
And in that case, if you've got a little bit of savings and your Social Security check, you can do pretty good in many of these countries.
We've got Matt on the line. He's in New Jersey listening to WPG. They're in Atlantic City. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah. Hi, guys. How you doing tonight?
What's on your mind?
Yeah, I'm friends with Donald Trump. I worked for him for 14 years here in Atlantic City.
Really?
Nice.
Like when you say friends, do you mean like you could call him up?
He'd walk through the door and say, "Hey, Matt."
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Can you give a cell number?
Doesn't he give that out freely?
I don't have his personal cell number. I got to call his secretary.
Okay.
I can't just call.
But he would
Especially now that
likely.
he's
You're saying
president.
he would likely return your call if you called. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a day or two, but yeah.
That's pretty cool, I guess. Hey, we'd love to know if Donald Trump is going to pardon Ross Ulbricht. So next time you get him on the line, feel free to ask him about that for us. Do you know who that is?
Okay.
Do you know who Ross Ulbricht
Yeah,
is?
I know exactly who it is. Yes, I don't ask policy questions with him.
Fair enough.
I ask about the kids and the family and
I gotcha.
That's I don't really get into that.
Fair
If
enough.
I ever
What
do
were you
call
calling
them.
about?
Well, I just wanted to tell you what I understand what you're saying about the guns in New Zealand and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
This is my philosophy, and I would like you guys to opine on it, please.
sure.
if
All
you
right.
could. I've known Donald Trump for a long time. I worked for him for a long time, and my belief is that he worked a long time in this country. His father had a couple shekels. Let's be honest.
Sure.
He had some money. Okay.
Yeah.
But Donald took it to a whole new level, and how he did that was his father was in Brooklyn and Queens, New York, and they were doing these low rent buildings and blah blah blah. They were doing well. But Donald, when he graduated his colleges that he went to, he says, "Dad, I'm going over to Manhattan." And Fred Trump says, "Oh, son, please, those people are crooked over there." This is circa this is circa 1971 or 2 now. I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. Is his dad
I
from
was like,
Jersey?
No, his dad's from Queens, New York.
Queens. Okay, got it.
And he told Donald, "Oh no, the mayor's crooked, the city council's crooked." This is circa 1971 or 2. I saw this on Netflix, like a documentary on Netflix about this, but I already knew it because I talked to him about it. And he had such disdain for these politicians from way back then.
You're
This
saying
is
Trump
what,
did. You're saying
71
Trump or his father had
Donald
disdain?
himself.
Donald had disdain.
Donald
Stand by,
himself.
Matt. I want to find out more about what you have to say here, if you don't mind. Stand by. More with Matt, former employee, he says, of Donald Trump. Known him for almost a couple decades, 14 or so years. 855-450 free, kind of giving us some insight into what he thinks Donald Trump is thinking. It's Free Talk Live.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to BlackRifleRealEstate.com. That's BlackRifleRealEstate.com.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with Reputation Defender. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with Reputation Defender. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771. For your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with Reputation Defender. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Free Talk Live.
The amount of young people being brought up on criminal charges, sex offender charges, for taking nude photos of themselves and putting them online. It's just so sad to see these people having their lives just rolled right over the top of by these prosecutors that want to make it look like they're doing something good, but they're not doing anything that's helping anyone. There's no victim in this case. When you hear the term child pornography, what should come to mind, if anything, should be the idea of forcing children into sexual scenes and videotaping or photographing them.
Forcing children, or somebody
even if it's a child forcing another child, I think the force is the issue there. If you're talking about a 15-year-old girl voluntarily choosing to take a nude photo of herself to send to her boyfriend or to post online, no one forced her to do that.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, and you're invited to join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. You hop into one of those, and we'll get you on the air here with us. You'll sound almost like you're sitting in the studio with me, Ian,
Richie Rich,
and Mark.
Don't forget, you can join the AMP program over at amp.freetalklive.com, just like Adamo has done. You can join. He decided to join as a platinum amplifier, which is way above and beyond what we request. We certainly appreciate it, though. Platinum is $25 a month, but the typical level is silver, which is a $5 a month contribution, and we will take that and use it to advertise, market, and promote Free Talk Live to help us get on new radio stations around the country. We've got over 200 stations on board at this time. And so if you want us to get to 300, then we can do it. It just takes time. It takes money. It takes effort. And the AMP program helps us do those things. So please go to amp.freetalklive.com. You can help us there, and you can get some cool perks and some benefits for yourself as well over at ampamp.freetalklive.com. And yes, you can use credit card, and you can use PayPal, and you can use Bitcoin BTC to do your AMP over at amp.freetalklive.com. Let's go back to Matt. He's in New Jersey. Says he was a longtime employee of Donald Trump and
friend.
And yeah, you say you know him pretty close.
Well, I've been to Mar-a-Lago. I knew the kids since they were knee high.
Yeah, and so you were kind of giving us your impressions of Donald Trump's opinions about the politicians in Manhattan. And I think that's where we left off your story.
In the 70s.
Yeah, well, his dad told him not to go over over the bridge because of the crooked mayor and the crooked city council, and he says, "No, Dad, I'm going there," and he did it, and he won. Okay, so as far back as like 1971, 72, he has such disdain for these politicians, and this presidential run has been brewing in him since then, but he just kept working and building his business. He took what his dad gave him and blew it through the roof. Okay, he owns properties all over the world, Scotland, all over the place, Palm Beach, Florida. He blew it through the roof.
If he has such disdain for politicians, why does he surround himself with them?
Well, I don't believe he surrounds himself with politicians. I just think that when his kids grew up and they graduated from their college and they're all super sharp, I just think he, the guy always needs a challenge. He looked around and said, I don't like what's going on with this country. Let the kids run the businesses. They're more than capable. Okay, you got, Ivanka, Donald, and Eric. Let the kids run it. I gotta fix this.
Yeah, but my point is about surrounding himself with politicians. The claim was that he was going to drain the swamp, and then he brings in all these typical kind of, political hacks. I mean, people whose names have been around D.C. and, other bureaucracies in state governments. I mean, he hasn't done anything to, drain. He's fired a bunch of them, but he keeps bringing a bunch more in. So, what do you think about that?
It's a very difficult thing. This has been building for 40 years. You can't correct this in 4 years.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can't correct it in 8 years, I suspect, either. If you're going to go as this slow, glacial pace.
Well, he's trying his best. I mean, he's trying his best to do it. But I mean, you can't correct it in 4 years for sure.
Okay.
I know that. Maybe 8. I don't know. He's a pretty capable guy. Okay. But I mean, yeah, he has fired a lot of people. But I think that's only from work ethic because. I know I work for him. If you're not ready to work a 16-hour day, there's something you're not going to last very long with him.
Well, Jack Ma, the Alibaba guy, just got in trouble for saying that as well. About a month or so ago, he said,
if you're not willing to work 16 hours?
Basically, it was the 996 method or whatever, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week was like the standard that he'd expected from his employees.
Wow,
or something like that.
Well, I remember I complained one week that I worked 90 hours this week, and my senior vice president said, "Junior, look at my timesheet. He worked 100." And that's the way Trump rolls. He sleeps like 3 hours a night.
Well, he's also
I'm
old.
just saying, when he came down that escalator with our beautiful first lady, who is like Jackie O times 2, he came down saying, I got to do something. The country's been very, very good to me. Now what I got to do is try and help out. Like, he wants the American citizens to have what he has. That's what he wants. And
well, it's an interesting insight. Would there be anything that you could criticize him for? Because obviously you're his cheerleading squad. What is it that you would say he's gotten wrong?
Well, I mean, he flies off the handle sometimes too much. I mean, I know him. I mean, he just, he's that kind of guy. He's got that Queens, New York
temperament,
abrasive attitude. He flies off the handle sometimes too much. And it doesn't go well on media and everything else because the media's against him. And every time he flies off the handle, he's just giving them bait.
So you want us to buy into the thought that Donald Trump has the best interests of the country at heart, the best interests of the citizens at heart, and that because of that, we should buy into what he's doing politically because the end result is supposed to be this betterment for all society?
Well, he just wants the regular American people, the veterans, the police officers to be taken care of. I mean, the border and all this is another issue, but we have to take care of our own first, guys. Come on. I mean, we have to take care of our own first.
Well, I don't think anybody needs to be taken care of unless they're, an invalid or paraplegic or, something like that. They can't physically take care of themselves. I think that what we need to see is people being free to make their own decisions, people being free to live their lives the way they want, whether they were born in this plot of land or whether they were born on some other plot of land elsewhere. There's some of the things that Donald Trump has done that I can appreciate, like the work that he's done to try to bring peace to North and South Korea. He's done some amazing stuff there. There's been a few tweaks that he's made that haven't been bad ideas. I heard recently that I think it was on Vincent's show last night. I heard that he appointed somebody who's like a crypto person to the Federal Reserve Board, but this was like at the same time of him getting on Twitter and saying that he thinks crypto is terrible or not a good idea or whatever.
And even wanted Facebook's LibraCoin to go through some regulatory process to get registered.
So I mean, he's not consistently small government in any way, shape, or form. He's advocating for a bigger government bureaucracies in the cases of the Border Patrol, which of course means a police state. I find that to be pretty frightening. But then again, he's like Barack Obama in that way, and all of his other predecessors. So I mean, when there's good things to say about him, I think we'll say it here, just like we said about Obama. I appreciate your call though, Matt, and thanks for sharing your inside.
It's a good call.
Your inside insights into what you believe he's up to. Of course, the tariffs are another terrible idea that is very anti-freedom, very anti-economics. And, I've heard the argument for what Trump's doing with the tariffs. The claim is that it's, up gamesmanship where he's trying to out-negotiate these other
under
countries.
Threat. Come to the table and negotiate under threat of tariffs and on the American people.
Well, the claim is that if China will remove its tariffs, then Trump will remove his tariffs. See, so he's just playing hardball.
He wants wants actual free trade, but you gotta have restricted trade to get free trade.
He's going. It seems counterintuitive. I don't think it's going to work out.
So if China gives their citizens more freedom, Trump will give the United States citizens more freedom.
That's the claim.
Right.
Yeah,
right. Makes sense to me.
Right. China's tariffs really only affect Chinese citizens and American companies that want to sell to them.
Yeah, it's the wrong direction to go in. I mean, it reminds me of the people who are like, well, immigration would be all right if we just didn't have welfare, but because we've got the welfare state, now we need to have a crackdown on immigration. We need more immigration bureaucracy, more rules because we got welfare. So they don't want, they don't actually believe that welfare can be ended, so they're arguing for more government in the meantime, even though in theory they would want to get rid of welfare, but they just don't even believe it's a possibility. I don't believe it's a possibility that you can get to no tariffs by putting tariffs in. But if all of a sudden China drops all of its tariffs, during the Trump administration, and then Trump actually drops all the tariffs in response, I'll have to say he was right about it. But I don't expect to have to say that. I don't think we're going to be saying that at any point, as a matter of fact. Hey, if you didn't get in tonight, we do this show every single night, and you can join us from 7 to 10 at night Eastern Time, any old night of the week. Or if you're not listening live, you can always listen later on over at freetalklive.com, where you can download archives at your leisure. Don't forget anarchistexperience.com.
That's the website.
For more of Richie, check him out there, and more Free Talk Live tomorrow night. You can join us then and online in the meantime at freetalklive.com.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
I'm crazy about My Magic Mud. This is the most important oral care product created this millennium, and I'm not kidding. We all have different opinions on politics and issues, but we all have mouths. And I want yours to be as clean as possible, with teeth as bright as they were meant to be. I will never be without My Magic Mud. It's a little surprising, but man, does it work. If you only listen to one thing I say ever, go to mymagicmud.com and get 20% off with code FTL. mymagicmud.com, code FTL.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,405. Silver at $15.12, and Bitcoin is trading at $11,700. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, investigative journalist Vicky Ward dropped a bombshell on Tuesday in an article for the Daily Beast, where she reported that U.S. Secretary of Labor Alexander Acosta reportedly stated that ill-famed Jeffrey Epstein belonged to intelligence. The Mind Unleashed reports that Acosta reportedly made the statement during his interviews with the Trump transition team, while being vetted for his current position of Labor Secretary. As the former U.S. Attorney in Miami, Acosta infamously cut Epstein a non-prosecution plea deal in 2007. For charges related to the sexual exploitation of underage girls. After being asked if the Epstein case would cause a problem in his confirmation hearings, Acosta reportedly responded that he only ever had one meeting about the case and had been told to back off, and that Epstein was above his pay grade. Quote, "I was told Epstein belonged to intelligence and to leave it alone," end quote, Acosta told his interviewers. The Department of Labor had no comment when asked about it, according to the Daily Beast. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. A Phoenix, Arizona man who was shot in his genitals by Phoenix police during a 2017 anti-Trump rally has decided to sue. Following a recent national investigation into the social media accounts of police officers, Scottsdale resident Josh Coben discovered that not only were his genitals targeted by police pepper balls, but he was the hapless brunt of police jokes as well. President Donald Trump visited Phoenix on August 22, 2017. A subsequent rally decrying his presence in the city took place on the streets of downtown Phoenix. Instead of peacefully protecting the protesters' constitutional rights to assemble and protest, Phoenix police fired tear gas and projectiles, such as the pepper ball which struck Coben. The young man was struck in his private parts after he decided to kick a canister of tear gas back in the direction of the police. Thousands of alien enthusiasts appear to be planning to storm the infamous Area 51 in Nevada in a desperate attempt to gain entrance into the conspiracy theorist mecca. The Mind Unleashed reports that a Facebook event named Storm Area 51, They Can't Stop All of Us, was started to announce the plan, which is scheduled to take place at 3 o'clock in the morning of September 20th, 2019. At the time of this publication, 316,000 Facebook users had RSVP'd to the event, and another 340,000 confirmed they are interested in attending. At the time of publication, over 15,000 posts had been made in the group, with memes, plans on how to hatch the raid, and even merchandise created for the event populating the page. Clearly, the page is meant to be a joke, but with so many saying they want to attend, the creator of the page made sure to clear himself of responsibility if there are some willing to storm the highly secure military base. The United States Air Force facility, commonly known as Area 51, is a highly classified remote detachment of Edwards Air Force Base within the Nevada Test and Training Range. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm. The latest edition of The Lava Flow is next on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.fm. Get more at thelavaflow.com.
The government wants to ban your encryption software and try to close Pandora's box. I wish them good luck. What's in the news with stories on bad boys, sex work, gun bans, New Hampshire, banning tobacco, and ignoring bans. And an Ask Me Anything segment where I answer your questions on PorcFest. Where would I live if not New Hampshire? Top 5 Libertarian presidential candidates, Libertarian podcast market, what do I eat on Thanksgiving, and how to get away from the 9 to 5. This episode is brought to you by Health Excellence Plus, a health share that has saved my family thousands of dollars and can save you money too. Also brought to you by PorcFest, the 3rd annual decentralized libertarian camping event that happens right before PorcFest, with no tickets and no one in charge. Also brought to you by my dozens of supporters.
Welcome to The Lava Flow, channeling the flow of information to the libertarian, anarcho-capitalist, voluntarist, and agorist community. Find us at thelavaflow.com. Here's your host, Roger Paxton.
Thank you for joining me this week. From the state that has the lowest poverty in the nation, according to U.S. News and World Report, this is the show that will bring you the people, places, and events that everyone in the Liberty Rebellion needs to know. You can catch me on Twitter at TheLavaFlowPod. This is episode 135, Government Hates Your Secrets, and it's Tuesday, July 2nd, 2019, when there have already been more than 425 people killed by police this year, and the United States debt clock shows us at more than $22,423,100 million in debt. What's rustling my jimmies this week? You're about to find out. Let's do it to it. First, let me apologize to all of my loyal listeners for missing the last 3 weeks of this show in a row. I had a ton of crazy shit come up the week before PorkFest, and I had to get it taken care of, so there was no episode that week. Then, of course, PorkFest happened. And there's no way to do a show at PorkFest when you're running that joint. And then last week, I came home down on my back, and my boys got me sick, so there was no way I could do one last week either. But I'm back on track 100% now, so let's make this shit happen. You know, for years, I have been begging you guys to start using encrypted communications for various reasons, if for no other reason than to create noise that the feds can't figure out. I use encrypted comms every single day, all day long, even to just send my wife innocuous messages. I suggest the same for you. But now, all of that chatter that the feds can't break into has them all in a tizzy. Of course, that's what we want. They are scared of this technology because they are scared of you, make no mistake. And they should be. So, in their fear, they're now looking into stopping this technology, as if they could. Politico reported that senior Trump administration officials met on June 26 to discuss whether to seek legislation prohibiting tech companies from using forms of encryption that law enforcement can't break. They said this was a provocative step that would reopen a long-running feud between federal authorities and Silicon Valley. Politico cited several unnamed sources in reporting that the encryption challenge, which the government calls going dark, was the focus of a National Security Council meeting Wednesday morning that included the number 2 officials from several key agencies. The discussion focused on the lockdown of messaging apps, billed as a privacy and security feature, which frustrates authorities investigating terrorism, drug trafficking, and child pornography. It's all for the children, folks. The challenge for governments, the U.S. included, is that the privacy of messaging has become a central theme in the ongoing debate around privacy, data security, and information integrity. People around the world are shifting from public social media posting to closed groups and messaging platforms that have been a major driver of that. Even Facebook has put messaging security and privacy at the center of its new strategy. Of course, in other parts of the world, this is not allowed. The example of WeChat in China is especially relevant, where the authorities monitor message traffic on a fairly open basis, with immediate sanctions for misbehavior. This will happen here if these things are banned. When encryption is outlawed, only outlaws will have encryption, as Darryl W. Perry said. As the 30th anniversary of Tiananmen Square approached, it was reported that WeChat users found keywords or pictures related to the event have been almost instantaneously deleted, with their posters sometimes summarily blocked. On the days of the anniversary itself, users were not even able to change their avatars. Now, there is no single point of view within the U.S. government on this issue, and even a well-known fault line on encryption within the executive branch, as reported by Politico. The DOJ and the FBI argue that catching criminals and terrorists should be the top priority, even if watered-down encryption creates hacking risks. The Commerce and State Departments disagree, pointing to the economic, security, and diplomatic consequences of mandating encryption backdoors. And the Department of Homeland Security can see both sides of the debate even within itself. The Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency knows the importance of encrypting sensitive data, especially in critical infrastructure operations, but ICE and the Secret Service regularly run into encryption roadblocks during their investigations. Earlier this month, a coalition of technology companies, privacy experts, and human rights groups published an open response to a discussion document from UK spy agency GCHQ that suggested the idea of a ghost protocol to enable an extra end in end-to-end encryption messaging, which would allow governments, when required, to listen in. The response for the likes of Apple, Microsoft, Google, and WhatsApp was blunt. It would undermine the authentication process, introduce potential unintentional vulnerabilities, increase risks that communication systems could be abused or misused. It will not matter that conversations are protected by encryption. Communications will not be secure. And if the U.S. does start to genuinely debate about such legislation, the backlash will escalate quickly. I mean, it's one thing to moderate the content shared on social media, quite another to bring total user privacy to an end. I mean, hell, even Mark the Zuckerberg himself wrote back in March, I believe the future of communication will shift to private, encrypted services where people can be confident what they say to each other stays secure, and messages and content won't stick around forever. I never thought I would say this, but I agree with the Zuck 100% on this one. So I encourage you to continue to use these encryption services like Wire, Signal, Telegram, and many others. Use them to tell your wife you love her and to pick up some bread at the store. Or use them to plan to take over the fucking world and then leave it alone. Just use it, period. Because it is working. It is pissing off those in power who think they can stop technology once the box has been opened. It is terrifying those who would rule us and subjugate us. It is terrorizing those who would terrorize us. Use this technology to strike at the root of evil.
Have you subscribed to the Lava Flow on iTunes or any mobile device yet? Then what's wrong with you?